Never be screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straight we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Never be screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straight we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll. Here this afternoon is the Metalheads Truck Series. Gets ready to go to battle here this evening. It is the REVCO 240 here from the beautiful Auto Club Speedway. And these drivers, they are ready to duke it out. They are ready to go to battle here for a lot of laps of racing action here this evening as qualifying coming to a close, and we'll get ready to jump right in to the racing action. As this one has we got Mr. K-Dub up in the chat already. Kev coming in says 120 laps tonight, 250 miles. Gonna be all about who can save their stuff or maybe even fuel mileage. I know K-Dub, he loves to try to play that fuel mileage game, tries to go off sequence with other people and see if he can try to stretch it out, see if he can put himself into victory lane here this evening. I know he's been trying it a lot lately, seeing if he can try to pull out one of those wins with a fuel mileage race. Now, I've seen K-Dub with the speed. He could probably just race his way into victory lane, but he's been on that strategy game for a little while here, and maybe tonight will be the night that it finally works out for you, K-Dub. Maybe you'll find yourself a way into victory lane as we'll get ready to see and go through our starting grid this afternoon. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're just tuning in here this afternoon to the REVCO 240 here at the Metalheads Truck Series, make sure you guys do us a favor right now. Even if you're rewatching the broadcast, so we're currently not live anymore, and you're tuning in to this point, make sure you guys hit that like button for us, smash that thumbs up button, hit that share if you're feeling courteous, make sure you definitely, it's absolutely free to do, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, turn those bell notifications on, that way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming. As drivers getting lined up here on the front straightaway, it is that number 27 of Nick Gardner. Gardner will start in the pole position. To his outside will be that Razor number 5 right of Matt Hayden. Starting in position number 3 in the 15, it's the Sparkle and Shine right of Michael Madden. To his outside in the 7 ride, it's the Boston Web Marketing Machine of Brad Summers. Then we see the number 3, the ASL, the American Sign Language ride. That is the 3 of Keith Prince, starting there in 5th. Justin Roden gonna start there in position number 6 as the JH01 ride rolls there in that 6th position. Then we see Daniel Dow, last week's winner, I do believe. Was it Dow that picked up the win last week? I can't remember. No, it was Nathan Nixon who got the win last week, wasn't it? One or the other. I can't remember now. I know that we've seen these Rev Racing cars, though, in victory lane all 3 weeks so far in the series. Hans Beverly's going to start there to his outside in the 8th position. And then rounding out our top 10, we do see Clinton Woodby in the 92. And I do believe it is the 87, John Herbert there in that Ridge Power Sports, KR Gutters, Team HP Motorsports. That is the 87 who will start in the 9th position. Charles Gettings back there at 12th. He's going to have that 97 ride of Colton Hardy down to his inside. Austin Gustafson and that 40 ride of that is the 40 ride of Nathan Nixon. Nate Cogdell up there in that beautiful Carolina Collisions Sonic Graphic Designs ride. He's going to start there in the, I believe that is the 14th spot on the Speedway. You can see Grayson McKee, Nathan Nixon, Paul Ferdinandi back there in that 44 ride. Joe Bennett there in that 05. Mark Beverly in the Asheville Outlaws Racing number 13 ride. He's back there in the 19th position with the 422 of Chuck Kiger to his outside. Matthew Catania back there in position number 21. And then we see Ashley Ellison Jr., Kevin Winker, Bruce Bernard, Caleb Kleinert, Coop Reed, Joshua Moore bringing up the rear of the field here in this one. 27 trucks taking the green flag here at Auto Club Speedway. They'll be led down to the green flag by the 27 ride of Nick Gardner as Gardner quickly sees that green flag fly, and we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing drivers down into corner number 1 and 2. You can already see them spread out. 2, 3 wide, almost a little 4 wide out there on the racetrack is everybody trying to figure out their trucks, trying to figure out how to survive here this afternoon and how to try and protect their equipment out there on the speedway. You want to be very, very cautious. You want to make sure you don't make any mistakes out there on the speedway in slamming around, boarding up your equipment a little too early in a run. Could definitely affect the outcome of your performance here this afternoon. So you're going to be very, very cautious. It's going to be very easy, not only on the throttle, but throughout this entire race, just trying to make sure you keep yourself out of trouble as Matt Hayden is going to lead that first lap. So Hayden out in front, leading the way here in this one as Gardner back there in second. Michael Madden there in third. He goes down his Rev teammate there in position number 4 now as he's already moved up 3 spots in that opening lap is Justin Roden. Brett Summers there in 6th. John Herbert up a couple early spots here. He rolls there in 7th with Hans Beverly, Nathan Nixon, and Colton Hardy. Our top 10 now on the racetrack. Charles Gettings back there in 11th as Keith Prince is falling down 7 spots early in this race with Clinton Woodby right there to his inside. Woodby, he's already down about 4 spots as well, and here you go. You see them 4 wide down the front straightaway. Four-wide racing here at Auto Club Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you came here for a show. Well, here you go. You get it in full force right there. These drivers putting on a heck of a race for us already here this afternoon. As Woodby, Kennings, Austin Gustafson, that 05 ride of Joe Bennett and Matthew Catania right there, all trying to race their way up to the front of the field. As the NOS Energy 318 jumps up into position number 14 now on the racetrack. He has moved up 5 spots early in this race. He's currently one of our hard chargers out there on the speedway. Joshua Moore, who started there deeper in the field, he's quickly driving his way up there towards the front, as well as that beautiful UO machine up into position number 20. Now looking for 19th as he slides down low underneath Mark Beverly. Beverly's going to slide back now into that 20th position. Now as Grayson McKee down to his inside, and then here comes Caleb Kleinert, Cooper Reed, and Paul Ferdinandi right there, as well as Ferdinandi trying to run his way up to the front of the pack after losing 4 spots there early in this race. Bruce Bernard back there in position of 25, and then we see K-Dub a little farther back here. K-Dub already trying to use that strategy to his advantage here. Seems like he is off the pace, but he is not off the pace. He's just trying to take care of these tires. He's trying to take care of the fuel in this truck, as that is going to be a key factor here all afternoon. Saving the equipment, that is going to be the name of the game. Trying to save those tires, trying to make sure you got them late in these runs. You don't want to burn your stuff up too quickly, as you may be a sitting duck out there on the speedway. So you want to be very, very cautious. You want to make sure you keep yourself out of trouble, as we do see one driver down the racetrack here, down in through the grass. Let's play this back here. The Metalheads 196 ride. This is Caleb Kleiner going for a little bit of a ride right here. As contact between him and Grayson McKee sends him down into the infield. Luckily enough, not a lot of grass down there. He was able to get some grip and keep that truck from smashing into the inside wall, and able to keep hold of it. And he slides all the way back into about the 25th, now back into the 26th position, as K-Dub's able to get around him, and Winkler slides up into 25th. So early on issues there for that number 196, right? We'll see if Kleiner can work his way back there. Is working his way back out in front. Our pole sitter, the 27, and Nick Garner. Garner back to the point here in this one. So Nick Garner able to take that race lead away from Matt Hayden. Hayden slides back into position number 2. Now they're starting to open up a little bit of a lead between themselves. The rest of this field, Daniel Dow back there about half a second behind our top 2 drivers. He rolls there in that 2 ride in that 3rd position. Justin Rodden right there with them. And John Herbert in that Ridge Power Sports number 87 ride. He's up into position number 5 on the speedway. Madden now falling back into position number 6 with Brent Summers right there on his back bumper. There you see Colton Hardy, Haas Beverly, and Austin Gustafson now inside the top 5 here, or top 10 on the racetrack. And there's a whole gaggle of cars. This is a battle and a half right here, ladies and gentlemen. They are stacked up 2 by 2 by 2 out there on the speedway, and right now everyone just trying to get every inch they can on the speedway. Now some drivers, I feel, are starting to try to play that strategy game. They know that they can try to keep that track position for a few laps, but really you want to start cleaning your stuff. Already tire fall off reaching somewhere around that half a second or better. So the tires here at Auto Club, this concrete track, it really tears up the tires, and we're going to see that throughout the evening on each and every one of these runs. These guys are going to be using these tires up. They're going to be falling apart, and they're going to be slipping and sliding and having all sorts of issues before having to come down pit side for green flag pit stops. And you don't want to be making too many pit stops. You don't want to be using up too many of these tires, as you may run out later in the race. So you got to be very, very cautious on how many trips are taking down pit road, how many sets of tires you're burning down there, and making sure that you at least got something in this race, and hope that all the issues or all the damage that could be created with bad tires or anything else could help potentially hold you down there on pit road even longer, or potentially put you multiple laps down out there on the racetrack, or even if you do have an extra set of tires back there behind the pit wall, you're probably not going to be able to have enough time to come back and fight into this race. As you're going to see a big move right there. Austin Gustafson up into that 9th position now on the racetrack, as Nick Gardner continues to lead the way. So Gardner, his quickest lap was about a 40.08 seconds. So virtually a 30-second lap flat. His last lap around was a 41-second flat, so he is about a second off the pace from our earlier laps here this afternoon. Now already onto lap number 10, so it's really showing you already what the tire fall off is. In every 10 laps you lose, a second or so out there on the speedway. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse for you out there on the racetrack. You go 30 laps, you're down 3 seconds off the pace. You go 40 laps, you're 4 seconds off the pace, and that's a lot of time to be given up out there on the racetrack, and that's where drivers can really start to use that tire strategy to their advantage, whether it's laying back early on, making sure you have better tires later in the run, or trying to push it early on and try to build an advantage or a lead where hopefully they don't have enough time to catch you before you have to make a trip down pit road. So there's going to be a ton of different strategies played around, bouncing around here for each and every one of these drivers, trying to decipher on where they need to be, what they need to do, and how they need to put themselves into that winning strategies. Here again, you do see our top 5 getting tight together here in this one as Ryan Peterson says, let's go, let's get it, Herbie, let's get it, Herbie, cheering on Ryan Herbert out there on the speedway as John Herbert out there on the speedway. John Herbert rolls there in that 5th position. You see that Ridge Power Sports, KR Gutters, HDK Eagles, number 87, right up in that 5th position. Now he's taking a couple looks to the outside, trying to see if he can maybe find his way around that do-right of Daniel Dow. Is Dow trying to hold on to position number 4 here. Here comes Brent Summers again in that 7 right. Colton Hardy right there, as well as Michael Madden down in the 8th position. Austin Gustin up into 9th, and Haas Beverly rounding out our top 10, having himself a great day as Nate Cogdell and Matthew Catania, they're in position number 12. Nixon back there on 13th with Charles Gettings. Clinton Woodby rounding out our top 15 with Ashley Ellison Jr. They're in 16th. Joshua Moore, the beautiful UO number 51, right? The usual normally we see him in a Muleburger Custom Homes truck, rolling there in that 17th position as Mark Beverly, Coop Reed, and Keith Prince round out our top 20 on the racetrack. Joe Bennett, Grayson McKee, Paul Ferdinandi, they're in position number 23. Then we see Caleb Kleiner, he's back up into 24th as Kevin Winker is there in that 25th position. K-Dub, Winker Nation back there in that 25th position. Now I know K-Dub, he's been off the pace really pretty much the beginning of this race. His quickest lap is about 8/10 slower than our race leader, so he's been off the pace. He's been trying to hold back here and trying to save his equipment right from the drop of the green flag, so we'll have to keep an eye on that 42 ride and see if he can start making some moves later in this run as Nick Gardner continues to hold down the fort. Now you do see that 0-1 ride of Justin Rodden slides back now into that 5th position, moving down, and that 87 of John Herbert up into 3rd and 4th on the racetrack is Dude Guy. What's good, Dude Guy? Dude Guy coming in with the like on the stream. Tommy Pulte coming in with that thumbs up on the broadcast. Jerry Rose, Ryan Peterson also coming in, showing the love with the likes on the stream. I appreciate that, fellas, coming in, smashing those thumbs up over there on Facebook. And for everybody else coming in, showing the love here throughout the evening. Everyone tuning in over on YouTube and over on Facebook, Twitch. I can't thank you guys enough for jumping in, being a part of the show, and enjoying some great racing action here on our, Easter Monday now. So hopefully everyone had a great Easter, man. Hopefully everyone had a great Easter. Hopefully you guys, had some fun times with your family, your friends, your children, or anything else. Being able to, be part of Easter traditions and find Easter eggs and find all that candy. I didn't find any candy, but I did raid my parents' house and found a bunch of golf balls. So that was a thumbs up for me right there. I had my own little Easter egg hunt, but it was an Easter egg. It was golf balls, and that's what really counts for me. That's the best part. That's the best part for me. And unfortunately, no Pro V1s though. No Pro V1s. That was a bit of a bummer. Is out in front. Daniel Dow able to make the move here. Dow takes that race lead away from Nick Gardner. Gardner slides back now into position number 2. Matt Hayden right there as here comes John Herbert, and here comes a bunch of these other drivers starting to storm back up through the field. Matt Hayden, Brent Summers, that number 15 of Michael Madden, Colton Hardy right there as well as the battle out in front starting to heat up here once again this afternoon. As Daniel Dow able to take that race lead away from the 22nd. Now it's going to be how long can he hang on to it as these drivers continue to fall off pace. They are now about 2 seconds almost about 2 seconds off the pace from the drop of the green flag to this lap now. So that is quite impressive. Almost 2 seconds of tire fall off. We're only 17 laps into this race, and it's going to just get worse and worse and worse for each and every one of these drivers, lap after lap after lap here this afternoon. As Dow, Nick Gardner 1 and 2, John Herbert now up and into third, but here comes Brett Summers right down to his inside. Summers seemed to hold back a little bit earlier. He kind of fell off the pace, kind of fell back a few spots, but now is starting to gain a bunch. And right there on our race leader's back bumper as he's going to slide up in front of that 27 right of Nick Gardner. Gardner's going to slide back to third, and now Brett Summers is going to try to go after that 2 right for the race lead here as the tire wear, the tire strategy, and the fuel strategy could play a major factor in who picks up the win here this evening. Now, for each and every one of these drivers, they do have, I do believe, a stage break here at some point in time. Let me double check and see what we're looking at there for the stage breaks. I know it's in here somewhere. There it is, probably. I do believe stage break for Auto Club is lap 25. So lap 25, we are going to see a stage break. Drivers are going to come down pit side, so that's going to be something that's going to be in the back of their mind. But we do see the caution flag come out a little earlier than that stage break. So a caution flag out there on the speedway. And oh no, it was Nick Gardner. Oh no, Gardner goes around here. I was off looking for the schedule, and Gardner's going to run into some problems out there on the speedway. Contact between him and Michael Madden just gets him turned around. The car goes for a couple loop-de-loops there on the front straightaway, and unfortunately just pointed the wrong direction, coming to a stop there on the racetrack, and that's where we see that first caution flag of the day fly. So our first yellow flag being displayed here this evening, and it's for that Celsius ride. And that's a tough break right there. Tough hit right there for the 27 right after leading quite a few laps early in this race. And right there, I'm just not sure. It looks like the 15 just gets a little loose down low and maybe trying to side draft a little off that 27 right. Unfortunately, comes up into him, hooks him, and turns him around. And for Nick Gardner, luckily enough, that truck stays on all 4 tires for the most part there. Does not go completely airborne, does not go upside down, and he's able to, kind of land that, stick the landing, keep on rolling, hopefully gets that truck somewhat repaired and right back into the action. Let's jump on board here with Gardner. Yeah, there's the contact. Nothing he can do. Just hang on to it. This is a scary sight. You don't want to wash back up into all the traffic and all these drivers that are rolling around you. And luckily enough, he keeps the tires locked down, doesn't roll back up onto the racetrack, able to not collect anyone else here on the speedway. So first caution flag, and now it is that big strategy call time. We see Colton Hardy. Hardy comes down pit side. Charles Gennings, Nate Cogdell, they come down pit road. Here comes Joshua Moore, Mark Beverly down pit side. Keith Prince, Coop Reed, Joe Bennett, Paul Ferdinandi coming down pit road there in that World Series of Poker ride. You do see Caleb Kleiner there, Bruce Barnard, he's down pit road, Chuck Kinger coming down pit side as well. So a bunch of these drivers taking some early pit stops here. Now this could be a huge strategy call, potentially just trying to leapfrog some of these guys. Knowing that we're going to get a stage break here again in just a little bit is, yo, Big Bacon, what's good, Big Bacon? Big Bacon coming in with that raid over on Facebook as well. Big Bacon Gaming coming in, inviting their viewers to join our stream. Let's go, baby. I appreciate that, Big Bacon. How are you, Casey? How you doing, brother? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful, wonderful day, and hopefully you had yourself a great stream, man. Hopefully you had a wonderful stream as Big Bacon himself coming in with that like on the stream. Justin Johnson coming in with that heart reaction as well. How are you, JJ? How you doing this afternoon, brother? It's Marcus Summerall also coming in with that thumbs up over there on the Facebook stream. How are you, Marcus? Hopefully you're having yourself a great day, as well as we'll get each and every one of these drivers ready to go back to battle, ready to duke it out again here this afternoon. This is going to be very, very interesting here. So we're going to have some fresh tires, some older tires out there on the racetrack, and we've already talked and seen kind of what the tire fall off is, and for when we had that caution flag, you got to imagine it's got to be about 2 seconds a tire fall off here. Between those fresh tires to these old tires, it's going to be about 2 seconds quicker for those fresher tires. And now we do see Michael Madden. He likes to come down pit road. He says, you know what, I ain't going to take the risk. I'm going to come down pit side here. Joshua Moore's coming back down pit road as well. And that Live it. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Probably getting it completely wrong. With a 51 ride, headed down pit side, that Muhlenberger Custom Homes machine, getting his car a little bit of extra tires and fuel and everything else, and ready to go back to battle here. Same with Michael Madden and Joe Bennett out there on the racetrack. So everyone's making these moves. Everyone's getting ready for this restart as the lights are once again off the pace truck here at Auto Club Speedway. And what I've heard, now we did see Auto Club Speedway getting tore down. It was getting tore down. It was going to have like a housing development or something built onto it, and like a highway through it and everything else. And I guess they've now backtracked on that. They've tore down more than half of it, but now I guess it's being rebuilt and it's coming back, and it's going to be back on the NASCAR schedule in I think a year or 2 years from now. So that's amazing. That's awesome. I love that. I love that. This is a beautiful racetrack. I don't know if it's going to be the same thing or if they're going to condense it and make it a little smaller into like a more of a short track, or maybe a little smaller of a speedway, maybe just a mile-long racetrack or a mile and a half or something, where I think this is more of like a 2-mile racetrack, maybe just a little bit bigger than a 2-mile racetrack. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do and how this track is going to shape up in the future here for NASCAR racing. But here in iRacing, we get to experience the old stuff, the good stuff that we all grew up and loved here for Auto Club Speedways. Here we go. Back to green flag racing. Driver trying to get back onto the loud pedal. You got to be very, very careful with it. And look at Haas Beverly. Contact down into the infield. Heavy contact there for that 22 ride, and a bunch of other drivers collected as well. And there's the caution flag. So cautions breeding cautions, and it starts here with the Big Haas Motorsports 22 ride. It actually starts a little bit farther in front of him. If you watch this 0-1 ride, he's going to get onto the throttle here, and as he does, he's just going to lose it. He actually just spins the tires. Goes up the racetrack, gets into the outside fence. Now I think Haas Beverly sees that. He rolls out of the throttle, but the drivers back there behind him, they don't see it. He gets a little contact. He gets a little bump and shove, a little brotherly shove here from the number 92 ride. Unfortunately, him and Woodby can take it tied together. You see the 48 ride gets some hard contact into the back end of that number 92. And then you see K-Dub, Winkers tied up in it. Nowhere to go for K-Dub. Nowhere to go for this 131 ride of Ashley Ellison in that South Point 133 machine. And here's the contact. Bam, bam, bam. Heavy contact. Bunch of these drivers down into the infield, and heavy contact with that inside fence there for that South Point. HendrickCars.com, number 133 machine for K-Dub. His day definitely got a little bit tougher there with that one. Luckily enough, not too much damage or too much chaos there for him, and hopefully not too much damage that he's going to have to try to get repaired, but still does end up with some pretty heavy front end contact here. Let's see if we can get another angle at this one and take a look here somewhat from his perspective out there on the racetrack. His Winker Nation. You see your drivers, unfortunately, nowhere to go there, trying to get up through the gears, trying to build that momentum and speed back up, and all of a sudden, bam, contact, nowhere to go, down into the infield. Lucky enough, no heavy contact with that inside fence. Here we go. Everyone else that didn't come down pit side, now headed down pit road. Daniel Dow, Brett Summers, Sean Herbert, Matt Hayden, Austin Gustafson. You see that 0-1 of Justin Rodin. He's coming down pit side. Here comes Nathan Nixon and Nick Gardner and Nate Cogdell. All these drivers headed down pit side. You see Haas Beverly also headed down into his pit stall, making sure he gets his trunk repaired. We see Matthew Catania. He's down pit side there in that paper cuts NOS 318 machine. And pretty much everyone except for a couple drivers that pitted there before that caution flag, like Charles Gettings and the 97 to Colton Hardy, I do believe, stayed out on the racetrack. Now Mark Beverly, he did make another pit stop here, but he was able to quickly get down and off of pit lane, and he'll come out in position number 3. Down there in 4th, Keith Prince back there in 5th, and that's going to set the stage here for our second restart of the day. Second restart of the day already. As what's good, Michael Scott? What's good, Mr. Scott? How are you? Scott Spencer coming in, showing the love, says be a Daga Wednesday. You're gonna be at Daga on Wednesday? Is that what you're saying, Michael? Is that what you're saying, brother? You're gonna be at Daga? I guess they do go to Daga this weekend, don't they, for the NASCAR series? Woo! Little Talladega Super Speedway action. Oh, brother, sign me up for that. I love a good Talladega, man. Good Talladega, good Daytona, man. Sometimes they can get pretty stale, sometimes they can get a little boring, but man, when you see those guys running 200 miles an hour, inches apart, 3x3x3 out there on the speedway, man, and coming right down to the wire, oh man, nothing gets your heart pumping better than that right there. That is that's the pure endorphins that we all crave and love with NASCAR. Is here we go, lining them back up. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one as we get ready to rock and roll. The REVCO 240 gonna get back underway here with the Metalhead Truck Series as a couple quick caution flags, and we're gonna get ready to go back to battle. As Michael says, the smell of the oil and fuel burning. Ooh yeah, brother, that's what gets me out of bed every day, man. That's what gets me up. I wish I could just, I need a cologne or something that gets that smell, that essence. I need that essence of like the track, the racetrack. I need that burning rubber, the oil and fuel burning smell. I don't know if other people would find that very good, but for myself, I know that would definitely be an aphrodisiac for myself. If I found some lady that smelled like a speedway. Woo! Woo! Oh baby, that's what I'd be talking about right there. That's get the motor running. That's for certain. Definitely get the motor running. As here we go, back to battle here at Auto Club Speedway. The pace truck will make the hard left-hand turn back down pit side, and we'll get ready to rumble here once again this afternoon. As he makes that hard left-hand turn back down pit side, they're going to unleash this field and put it back into the hands of our flag man and our race leader, the 96 of Charles Gettings. As Gettings back onto the loud pedal, down through the Geico restart zone, and we are back to battle here in California. We're here at the beautiful Auto Club Speedway in the sunny California here this afternoon as Gettings leads us down through quarter number 1. That Storm Sim Performance, number 96, right up on the high side. Colton Hardy, though, down on the inside in that Sonic Graphic Designs winning bid diecast at number 97, right, trying to stay right there in that second position, but trying to use that inside wing to try to take that race lead away as the QH Designs ride down low. It's a great run and quickly jumps up in front of that 96. So Colton Hardy now to the point as Charles Gettings slides back into second there at quarter number 4, and Daniel Dow, he's right back into the mix there. There's Dow. He was our race leader coming down pit side there after that last caution flag, and now he rolls back in position number 3. Mark Beverly, Keith Prince, our top 5 out there on the speedway. Nate Cogdell there in 6th with Matt Hayden back in 7th. Michael Madden, John Herbert, and Brent Summers rounding out our top 10 here on the racetrack as we do see that yellow flag come back out. So yellow flag back out into the air here again. Another quick caution flag, and I do believe, I don't know if this was for the stage break. I don't think it was for the stage break. I think we're going to see some issues here with the 422 right there. Yep. Oh, baby. Oh, I thought he was going to go upside down right there, but he does make heavy contact with that outside fence here in quarter number 1 for that W2W ride. Definitely not the way he wanted things to go here in this one. Let's see if we can take another look at it, see if we can get another ride on board here with this number 422 machine as the wall-to-wall custom paint and wall coverings. Silverado going to get rolling here. That Nick Biddy Designs 422 ride in. I'm not sure if he comes up or the other car comes down, but take a look here. Looks like he's kind of coming down, maybe just ever so slightly, trying to get in line behind the 17 ride and shoot down to the inside. Unfortunately, the 14 was already down there, and for that Paper Cuts Majula St. Speed Shop Team CFM Esports ride, he's down low, really nowhere for him to go, makes heavy contact with him. You see that 422 ride almost going airborne right there. Luckily enough for Kinger, he doesn't go upside down. Unfortunately, though, still makes some very heavy contact there with that inside fence. See if we can go back and take another look at this one, see if we can jump on board with him and see what he can see here from the cockpit of this 422 ride. Is here it goes down the racetrack, and unfortunately, oh man, that sucks. Heavy hit right there. You hear that motor unfortunately expiring right there. This truck is absolutely toast down there at quarter number 1 and 2, and luckily enough, he's able to just keep it rolling here. He's going to have to get some serious repairs and really get that truck fixed up and try to get it back out there on the racetrack. And now it's going to open up the door here for other drivers to make some strategy calls here. See Haas Beverly, Nick Gardner, Paul Ferdinandi. He's down pit side. See with Joe Bennett and Charles Gettings. Joshua Moore, K-Dub, Kevin Winker back down pit road now. Probably not taking any tires, but probably getting some fuel into their trucks. That extra 4 or 5 laps of fuel could be a completely different, strategy call. Could be a, race-winning move right there. There's no more stages here through the afternoon. We could go clean and green to the end of this race. We watched that first 19 laps go clean and green until we got our first caution flag. Now we've had a couple more since then, but with a couple yellow flags could potentially mix things up, could definitely balance out some of the pit strategies, but we could see this go clean and green right down to the end from this point on, and we could see these drivers having to make 1, 2, maybe even 3 green flag pit stops here at Auto Club Speedway, and having that extra little bit of fuel could be the difference maker between not having to come back down pit road or having to be able to make it to the end and try to use that fuel strategy to put yourself up and into victory lane. As you're going to see these drivers again as we get another lap around the racetrack, they're going to head right back down pit side. Every single drop of fuel could be the difference maker here this afternoon, as we see Paul Ferdinandi, he's back down pit side in that World Series of Poker 44 ride. Nick Gardner, Joshua Moore, Kevin Winker all coming back down pit lane, even though they were just down there 1 lap ago, getting fuel into their trucks. They're doing it again here. Let's see if that strategy can pay off for them here this evening. It's out in front. Colton Hardy going to get ready for a big restart as the winning big diecast. Sonographic Designs, QH Design, number 97 ride's going to get ready to set these drivers loose, get ready to go back to green flag racing. You'll have Daniel Dow there to his outside with Mark Beverly back in third. Keith Prince there in fourth with Nate Cogdell, Matt Hayden, Michael Madden, John Herbert, Brett Summers, and, Nathan Nixon inside our top 10 there in that Sparkle and Shine Rock Solid Rigs number 40 machine. As we do see Austin Gustafson back there in 11th, Justin Rodden, Matthew Catania there in that 358, 318 machine. The 92 of Clinton Woodby, Grayson McKee, Bruce Barnard. You see Caleb Kleinert, Haas Beverly, Charles Gettings, and Joe Bennett. Our top 20 out there on the racetrack. Coop Reed, Ashley Ellison Jr., Nick Gardner, Paul Ferdinandi, Joshua Moore, Kevin Winker, Chuck Kiger bringing up the rear of the field as Kiger's gotten his truck repaired and still rolling out there on the speedway. Unfortunately, he's quite a ways back. As here we go, back to green flag racing as he heads down into corner number 3 back there at the rear of the field. Our race leaders rolling back up to speed down the front straightaway and back into corner number 1. Everyone going to be looking to try to race their way to the front of the field. Everyone maybe a little bit more cautious now. A couple yellow flags, potentially trying to take their their lines a little easier here. They saw how quickly that tire wear was kind of burning up there in that first run. Maybe they try to play it a little differently. Maybe they try to take it easy here at the start of these runs and see if they can find that extra speed later on as everyone else starts to fall off. They can pick up speed as now you got to look out for the 87 ride right there. John Herbert right there. John just bounced it right off the outside fence right there. That's a pretty good hit for him as he went to the extreme right side, made some big moves here and almost stole a couple spots away from guys, but bounced it off the outside fence. Unfortunately, some pretty good right side damage for that 87. Able to keep it rolling though, keep it pointed in the right direction, and he's able to just keep on fighting there in that outside lane. Even the contact on the outside fence is not going to slow down that Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters HCK Eagles 87 ride here this afternoon. As once again goes up there, up on that fence, getting a big run here, looking for a lot of speed down the front straightaway, but there's contact. Look out, around goes the 2 of Daniel Dow. Dow's turned around over the nose here of that number 87 ride, and I don't think we saw, oh, there is the caution flag. We do see the yellow flag come out here. Unfortunate contact, unfortunate damage here as a couple drivers at the front of the field. Actually, do we see the caution flag? Yeah, there it is. Okay, there it is. Caution flag is out. Seemed like there was some more action afterwards as well, but let's take a look here as Dow's just kind of rolling the bottom here. 71's up on the high side. Now, I do believe we're going to see a little contact between these guys, and unfortunately, Take another look at it right here, right there. There's that contact. 71 right into that back bumper, into the more of the right rear quarter panel of that two-ride. Unfortunately, it's just going to take Daniel Dow around, and he washes straight up the racetrack right into the lap of a couple of our other front runners here this afternoon. Let's see if we can get another look at it here from this perspective as we watch this number 71. Comes in with a big head of steam, gets a great run, and he tries to shoot for the middle right here. Unfortunately, just misjudges it and gets right into that quarter panel of that two-ride. Just hooks him up the racetrack. Heavy contact here into our race leader as Hardy nowhere to go, and John Herbert right there, nothing he could do as all of a sudden he gets that two-ride parked onto his nose. You see that number 97 to Hardy. Hardy goes down into the infield grass right there, goes for a big slide here himself, and unfortunately he's going to end up losing quite a few positions as well as he goes for a wild slide down there through the infield. Now, see if we can find Colton Hardy. There's Hardy. Hardy's still sliding down through the grasses. They're still pinned up against each other on the outside lane. Just really nothing he can do right here. Just running his race, trying to continue to keep that race lead, and all of a sudden it gets absolutely destroyed there. Heavy rear end damage for that 97. Luckily enough, able to keep it out of the inside fence. And then a little farther down the racetrack, I do believe we're going to see a couple more drivers potentially run into problems, or they finally decide to throw that caution flag for these guys. As we do see the 3-ride get up into the outside fence right there. There's that 3 machine, and unfortunately, the 3 of Keith Prince. Looks like Prince does get a little damage out of this as well. So Prince does get tied up into it. You see that contact as he's trying to get checked up. He's right behind these guys. He gets checked up. 13 comes in, makes contact with him. Virtually the same spot as we saw the 71 and the 2 come together, and it does the same thing. Just hooks that 3-ride right up the racetrack into the outside fence. Heavy right side damage there for him as well. And now once again, you see a lot of these drivers back down pit road. Drivers trying to get repairs. Drivers trying to get that extra fuel. Trying to size themselves up and see if they can hit this strategy to try to put themselves into the winning situation here. As Beverly Rapp says, let's go. Joshua Moore, number 51, cheered on Josh here this evening as Bones does what's good, Bones. Bones coming in showing the love as well. Coming in showing the love with the horns up as well here as he says, chaos, chaos. It is lots of chaos out there on the racetrack. He says, hello, race fans and metal fans. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Hey, you know what? I don't know if there's any metal fans watching right now or not, but I appreciate you guys tuning in as well. I didn't know metal fans. I'm just kidding. I'm talking about real fans, like fans, ceiling fans, metal fans. I don't know. Dad joke. Bad dad joke right there. And so here we go. We're going to get them all stacked up. We're going to get them all racked up. We're going to get ready to duke it out again here in this one. We'll see what these drivers can do as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll get ready to go to battle here again this afternoon. And, we've seen some caution flags here over this last little bit. We started the night off with a lot of good hard green flag laps there, about 19 laps of green flag racing before our first caution flag, and then over the last 15 laps we've seen 3 caution flags, 3 other caution flags, 4 caution flags, something like that. It's been a lot of yellows and a lot of tore up race cars here over the last 5-10 minutes of this race, and unfortunately a lot of drivers have been feeling that pain, have been feeling that hurt, and now have to try to battle themselves back into the fight here this afternoon. As we do see Nick Garner and Joshua Moore, you see K-Dub, all these guys, they're once again back down pit road, making some more adjustments, more changes to their rides, as Mark Beverly still down pit side here trying to get his truck repaired. Colton Hardy, he rolls back out there onto the speedway. He scored back in 26. Same with Daniel Dow there. He's now into 25th as they're going to get lined back up. They're going to get ready to go back to battle, and for Mark Beverly still down on pit road, man. This is a heartbreaker for that Asphalt Outlaws number 13 machine. If oh, there we go. He puts her in gear. He drops it and quickly gets rolling once again down the pit lane here. Now, hopefully he doesn't have to go too far down pit lane as our race leaders are already into corner number 3. They're getting ready to go back to green flag racing, so they're getting ready to go back to battle. Mark Beverly, he's just rolling down into corner number 1 here. He's got to try to build up this speed. He's got to try to join that rear of the field here and get ready for this restart. Unfortunately, I think he's going to be in the same situation that we saw with the 422 with Chuck Kiger there on that last restart. Is he's down the back straightaway, and our race leaders, they are going back to green flag racing, so he's going to start this restart virtually almost a half a lap down out there on the racetrack. Is Austin Gustafson, the Spotify underdog betting number 71 run in front, leading the way here in this one. Matthew Catania up and into second now. Catania's up 17 positions from where he started in that NOS Energy 318 machine as the paper cuts ride rolls there in that second spot of the Speedway. Justin Rodden there to his inside, Mason Lee Cogdell doing a great job that Carolina collision. Sonographic Designs, Metalheads, 00 machine. He's now up into 4. Fred Summers back there in 5th. Michael Madden, Nathan Nixon, Matt Hayden there in 8th with Caleb Kleiner there in 9th, and Charles Gettings rounding out our top 10. There you see that 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. in the 14 ride, and then Clinton Woodby, Paul Ferdinandi back there in the 14th spot. Bruce Barnard there in 15th with Grayson McKee. Ross Beverly in that 22 ride. He's back there in 16th. He's got Nick Gardner, John Herbert, Joshua Moore back there behind him. Here comes Daniel Down trying to race his way back up towards the front of the field. Joe Bennett, Chuck Kiger, Keith Prince, K-Dub, Kevin Wanker again out there on the racetrack, just kind of running his own race out there on the Speedway and just running some different laps and trying to keep himself out of trouble. As here we go, more trouble in front of him, and another caution flag out there on the racetrack. Carnage here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute carnage, mayhem out here on the Speedway, and this is going to be another big one at the front of the field. Matthew Catania and a bunch of these other drivers looks like they're going to get tied together as Catania going to go for the race lead here. This is a battle out in front, so Catania down low. The 71 of Gustafson up on the high side, and he's going to cross him over, and then down out of corner number 4. Oh, one comes up, one comes down. I think they were both trying to side draft potentially off of each other. They make heavy contact. Man. Not very often you see our race leaders or two drivers battling for the race lead actually just take each other out of this race. That's actually kind of wild. Both drivers just out in front, door to door. One comes up pretty aggressively. The other one is coming down, but nonetheless, they just kind of run out of room in a quick hurry. They make heavy contact up into the outside fence there for Austin Gustafson, and for that 318 ride at Catania, he goes down into the infield here, and then not sure if he ends up sliding back onto the racetrack. Oh, looks like maybe he does right there, and oh man, heavy hits here for a bunch of other drivers. Hoss Beverly tied up in it. You see that 48 ride of Grayson McKee, the 92 ride. That's the Goldberg machine here. There's nowhere to go out there on the racetrack. That's Clinton Woodby. Watch Woodby. He's going to roll into this, and really just nothing that he can do to avoid it as the 318 slides back up there onto the racetrack. He tries to drive up and out of the way. Unfortunately, he slams into him. Same with that 48 ride. And you see the 17 trying to slide up and out of the way. He gets a piece of it, gets a piece of the 22. More carnage down the front straightaway into corner number 1 here, and a lot of trucks tore up again here this afternoon. Early on in this race, we still got a lot of laps and a lot of racing left to go here in this one as some more pit strategies here. It's the 0-1 of Justin Rodden. Rodden's going to stay out on the racetrack as Charles Gettings, he's out there. Ashley Ellison Jr., Matt Hayden's going to stay out there. Laps down pit road on lap 24. Hoot Reed, Joshua Moore, Chuck Kiger, the 79 ride of Colton Hardy. They're all staying out there on the Speedway as Brent Summers going to be the first driver just down pit road to roll back out onto the racetrack now. Probably not going to have fresh tires. Probably not going to have too many issues here with the tires until we start to put more green flag laps on them. As Bones Does says he spun like a top. He definitely spun like a top. There's a couple times we've seen drivers spin like tops here this evening as, all right, here we go. Back to battle. back to trying it again, see what we can do, see how many more laps we can get under our belts before the next caution flag is already 42 laps of this race completed. The next time by the start finish line, so we're getting there. We're about 1/3 of the way through this race, so we're slowly but surely getting towards that halfway marker. We're slowly but surely getting there, and the action is non-stop. It is continuing to heat up, and we're going to continue to see these guys really duke it out lap after lap after lap here this afternoon, as this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting to see what each and every one of these drivers are going to be able to do here this afternoon. Alrighty, well, lights are still on the official iRacing pace truck here, so it looks like we're getting a little bit more of an extended caution flag, so not too sure what the extension is for, but looks like we're going to get a few more laps out there on the racetrack here. We're going to get a couple extra opportunities for drivers to head down pit road and try to get repairs, try to get their trucks fixed. And back out there on the racetrack is Jason Steptoe. What's good, Mr. Steptoe? Coming in, show the love here in this one, as Jason Steptoe says, Plus EV Racing, baby. Let's go, let's go. Plus EV Racing out there on the racetrack. It's always a good night when we get to see the EV Racing team out there on the speedway and battling here in the Metalheads Truck Series. As we'll get them all ready to roll. We'll get them ready to go back to battle here once again this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys haven't yet done us the favor, it's absolutely free to do. Helps us out a ton. And even if you're rewatching the broadcast or you haven't yet done it, and we're not even live anymore if you're at that point, make sure you guys do us a quick favor. It takes just a couple seconds. It's absolutely free to do. Helps out a ton. Just hit the like button on the stream right now. Hit that thumbs up button. You know, it's right below or right beside usually where it has, you know, my information and everything, or right above where it kind of has some of that stuff. So make sure you guys hit that like button on the stream for us right now. Hit that thumbs up, and make sure you guys do us a favor too. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family. Become part of the Peacemaker fam here this afternoon. Become part of the fun here, as Bones Dust says, whose face is on the 01 truck? I do believe that is one of, is it a wrestler? I want to say maybe it's a wrestler. I don't know, actually. It's a good question. Believe in Joe Hendry. I do believe it's a wrestler. Am I wrong on that one? Someone Google it. Pretty sure it's the NXT North America. I believe that's what that is. NA. NXT NA. Believe in Joe Hendry. I don't know who Joe Hendry is, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the wrestlers or someone that's part of the NXT family or something like that. At least it looks like he's kind of got his fist up or something, like he's ready for a fight there on the hood of that 01 machine. And just like everybody else out there on the racetrack, they are all fighting here this afternoon, just trying to keep their trucks in line, trying to keep them underneath of them, and trying to stay out of the carnage here on the racetrack, as he's a WWE star. Okay, so he's a WWE star. Okay. Yeah, I'm not up to date on the old WWE, man. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I watched myself any wrestling, okay? It's been a long time since I watched wrestling. But hey, man, WWE, it's massive, man. It's massive. Maybe we'll get into you know, putting together a couple fights or something like that for WWE, getting a bunch of the drivers together. Maybe we do post-race, you know, fights down there for the WWE. Everyone's just gonna have to download it. Do they have a Chromecast? Can we watch them and broadcast it? I'll voice over it. I'll be the Bruce Buffer of the Internet WWE. As here we go, out in front, the battle is on as Ashley Ellison Jr. to the point. Ellison now takes that race lead away on the restart and slides that 01 of Justin Rodden back there behind him. As here he comes to the front of the field, and Charles Jennings right there on his back bumper. As Joel Moore says, Joshua Moore's writing on the side of sign is the logo for the University of Olivet. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's U Olivet. That is where he attends college. Keep up the great announcing. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. That's good to know. That's good to know. We were trying to read it earlier. I wasn't too sure what it was. I wasn't sure if it was like a company or. I guess that makes sense now. The UO is usually university, and the O is obviously Olivet. Olivet. Probably getting it completely wrong. But here we are, back to battle here at Auto Club Speedway. Ellison Jr., Justin Ron, and 1 and 2 on the speedways. The 0-1 trying to battle back in. Talking about that 51, Joshua Moore. Here he comes. Jumping right into the action here in this one. Joshua Moore right there. He's looking to try to jump to the front of the field. Now he's starting to peek in this pack, and he's been playing a little bit of that strategy game, but a lot of drivers just came down pit road the last caution flag. He was able to stay out on the racetrack. He leapfrogged a lot of them, and now right in this fight here at the front of the field as he's all over the back bumper of that South Point 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. as Ashley trying to hold on to that 133 machine. Justin running down low in that third spot on the speedway. And here comes Charles Gettings and Cooper Reed. Cooper Reed in that beautiful Chevrolet 14 ride. Found himself a good day. He's up 23 positions and running there in that fifth spot on the racetrack. As we see them 2, 3, 4 wide, even deeper throughout the field. Everyone trying to race their way up towards the front here. Drivers after running into issues and getting some heavy damage, getting those repairs in, trying to race their way back into the action. You look back through the field at drivers who ran into issues like Caleb Kleiner back there in 12. You look at Colton Hardy, who was our race leader, got taken out, had heavy damage on that 97 ride. He's trying to race his way, trying to battle back towards the front of the pack. Here comes that 13 of Mark Beverly. You see the 422 of Chuck Kiger, who we see get into the outside fence pretty heavily there early in this race, right around lap 24 when we saw that issue form. Seems the 22 of Big Hoss Beverly, the 48 ride of Grayson McKee's had some very serious damage to his truck. And you look back through the field, man, there's just a lot of drivers that have been kind of on survival mode here this afternoon. Other drivers trying to survive a little bit more. When you look back at Kevin Winker, K-Dub, he rolls back there in 25th and keeps on battling here, trying to run a little bit of this fuel strategy game out there on the speedway. Bruce Barnard, he's right behind him. Grayson McKee, unfortunately, they scored as the one and only driver a lap down as of right now, as he's the only driver that's currently scored a lap down that McDonald's 48 line. He's going to be looking for a couple caution flanks and hoping to get back onto the lead lap here in a quick hurry. As out in front, the heat is on here still. Oh, brother, we are 2, 3, 4 wide here at the front of the field, and his driver's starting to really put that pressure onto Ashley Ellison Jr., but Ashley gets a great run down through 3 and 4, able to open up the door there and pull away just ever so slightly. But here we go, they are 4 wide back there behind that metalhead South Point 133 machine. As Caster plays, what's good, Caster? Caster says, boogity, boogity, boogity. Yes, Sirski, as Bones does, says, my buddies and I used to play WWE for hours on PlayStation 2. I'm the same way, dude. I'm like the same way. Back in like the early 2000s, man, when I was a kid, WWE, it was pretty good. It was pretty fire. I don't think I really watched a lot of it, but I played a lot of it on PS2, PS3 growing up, even PS1, honestly. Couple of my buddies, they had the action figures and stuff like that. I didn't really get into the whole action figure fad of it. I can't do that. I can't spend money on plastic toys. I'm not a huge fan on that. It's Ashley Ellison Jr., though, out in front, keeping that beautiful JH01 ride back there at bay as Justin Ronick continues looking to try to take that race lead back away from the 133 machine, as once again these drivers catching right back up to their back bumper. Now here comes a big move. Daniel down low. Down's going to make it 3 wide here at the front of the field. 3 wide battle in here at Auto Club Speedway. Racing for the race lead is down low. Daniel down looking to take a big run, but now it's going to open up the door for his teammate here in that Sparkle and Shine Anything EC Toyota of Michael Madden. Madden jumps quickly down low. He's going to look to make a couple moves and a couple passes, and now he look down to the inside of our race leader trying to go for that race lead. The 2 rides going to try to bounce up another challenge quickly. Right there behind them is their other teammate, another Sparkle and Shine ride. That is the Rock Solid Rigs machine. The Anything EC ride, the 40 of Nathan Nixon, back there just inside our top 5 C-Store, two-door, that 14 at Coop Reed. Charles Gettings, Brett Summers, Clinton Woodby, and John Herbert back inside the top 10 here this afternoon. Herbert, another one of those drivers, same with Woodby, battling back from early issues, is now look out, the 0-1 rides around. The 96, the 15 of Michael Madden, they get collected, and we get the caution flag back out on the speedway. Caution flag back out here on the racetrack, and another issue at the front of the field here. That has been the worst place to be here, honestly, all afternoon. If you've been up there towards the front of the field, if you've been one of our race leaders or anything else, it's been a tough spot. You probably don't want to be a race leader until late in this race. It seems like it's very hard to hang on to these rides and keep yourself out of trouble here this late in the race, as Justin Rodden trying to take this race lead back away. So Justin Rodden up on the high side there in that JH01. Looks like Ellison just tries to squeeze in down behind that 0-1 machine. Unfortunately, just misjudged. It was not clear. Could not slide in behind that 0-1 ride, and just going to make contact here. See if we can get another look at another angle here on it, as you're going to see these two just make a little contact right here. Not sure if the 0-2 maybe comes down just ever so slightly. The 133 kind of comes up. They make contact, though, nonetheless. And that spins that 0-1 right around. Nowhere to go here for Michael Madden. Madden's just kind of sitting duck down low. And as he gets contact into him, he slides back up the racetrack. And Madden goes up the racetrack right into the lap here of that 7 rider. Brett Summers also collects the 96 ride as Gettings. Nowhere to go for him there. Heavy damage for him. You do see Caleb Kleiner having himself a heck of a run here, just sliding and trying to dodge all these spinning cars out there on the racetrack. Let's see if we can go back and jump on board here with that 196, see what he can see as he's trying to just keep himself out of trouble and trying to stay clean and green out there on the racetrack and just trying to keep that car in one piece. And luckily enough, he is able to get through it and able to keep that car pretty safe out there on the speedway. Let's see if we can jump on board with him as and somehow or another, he just cuts through this. He just cuts through all this action. He sees the truck spinning down low. He's trying to aim, trying to figure out which way he needs to go, and they're just continuing to slide around him here. And luckily enough, he'll stay on his tippy toes, keep that truck clean, and keep himself out of any additional carnage or chaos right there. And that's a heck of a run for him. As Gaster Plate says, I'm go take a shower. Good. Let's go, brother. That's what's up. I will see you later. See you, brother. See ya. Have a good night. Have a good shower, I guess. It's great to know. A little too much information, brother. I don't need to know that. Here we go. Daniel Dow staying out in front, did not come down pit side. We did see a lot of other drivers again back down pit road here, as again the fuel mileage, the tire wear, all of this is going to become such a major factor, such a major play here all evening long on what you need to do and how you need to keep yourself out of trouble out there on the speedway. And we've seen this tire fall off. If we get a long green flag run, the first run we had of the day from our initial green flag up until about lap number 19 when we saw that first yellow flag fly, we had that 19-lap run. We saw the tire fall off about 2 seconds. A tire fall off from that first lap down to that 19th lap was just about 2 seconds, maybe even a little bit more than 2 seconds. A tire fall off on how quickly these tires just get shredded up here at Auto Club Speedway on that old concrete pavement, and everything else just kind of tears these things up, just makes these trucks, and these tires just go absolutely bonkers here. So you got to be very, very careful on what you're doing down pit road. You don't want to make the wrong choice or the wrong call, put tires on at the wrong time, and burn your equipment up too early in this race, and maybe not have that extra set of tires for later on, especially with seeing a lot of these caution flags. Potentially having those late race yellows could put you into a winning position if you got that extra set of tires back there behind pit wall. As Bones does says, leaders gotta keep it together. Yeah, the leaders have been having a rough run here tonight. The leaders have had a tough run, man. I think that's our third wreck at the front of the field. I think tonight, third wreck, fourth wreck at the front of the field, man. They've been they've been a little bit erratic up there. They've been slipping and sliding and battling hard there for the race lead. And unfortunately, it's led to a lot of chaos, a lot of carnage, and a lot of tore up sheet metal out there on the speedway. And hopefully that's the last time we see it, but I don't know. We're probably going to see it a couple more times. Here we go. Back to green flag racing is back to the left pedals. Daniel Dow. Dow out in front. We'll see that green flag fly. He'll quickly slide up in front of his Anything EC Sparkle and Shine teammate. That 40 ride and Nathan Nixon as the Rev Racing rides here at the front of the field. As these do see Cooper Reed. Cooper Reed's poking his nose right into this fight. Here comes Michael Madden. Madden has been able to, luckily enough, not get too much damage onto that 15 truck and able to keep himself up here battling towards the front of the field. Caleb Kleiner right there as well in that 196, just rounding out our top 5. Here comes that 92 of Clinton Woodby. Mark Beverly back there in 7th. John Herbert, Joshua Moore right there door-to-door battling here for the 8th position with Colton Hardy right there behind them, rounding out our top 10. Paul Ferdinandi back there in position number 11 with Brett Summers. Nate Cogdell, that number 5 rider, Matt Hayden. Charles Kennings back there in the 96. Nick Gardner, Matthew Catania there in that 318 machine back in 17th. You still see them. They're not slowing down one little bit. They're still making moves. They're still slipping and sliding around, trying to run some different lines. They're 2-3 wide out there on the racetrack is Condell, Austin Guffson, all these guys right there stacked on top of each other. You see the 3 ride down low, getting a big run for that American Sign Language number 3 machine. That is Keith Prince trying to race his way back up towards the front of the field. Then we see Haas, Beverly, Kevin Wanker, K-Dub back there in 21st with Joe Bennett. Ashley Ellison Jr. got tied up there in that last caution. Same with that 0-1 of Justin Rodden there back in 23rd and 24th. Grayson McKee, he loved to see that caution flag as that got him back onto the lead lap and back into the action here this evening. So the 48 ride now back into the fight here in this one is Chuck Kiger, Bruce Barnard, rounding out our 27th car field this afternoon. 27 drivers taking that green flag, 27 drivers still battling here in this one, but it's all sparkle and shine anything EC here at the front of the field as Nathan Nixon, Daniel Dow, and Michael Madden lead the way as the caution flag will come back out. So caution flag back out here in this one. Now I'm not sure what this yellow flag was for. Do we have 2 stage breaks in this race? It doesn't show 2 stage breaks. It shows stage at lap 25. That's an interesting one right there. So I'm not sure if that was a stage break or if we do see some more issues out there on the racetrack. I didn't see anyone really running into problems or anyone going around. Maybe Nate Cogdell running into some issues here. Let's take a look and see. There we go. There is the caution flag. That's Paul Ferdinandi. Paul's going to run into some issues here in that 44 ride. So let's take a look and see what happens to Paul Ferdinandi as the World Series of Poker 44. Looks like he's just going to get a little contact right there. Gets a little love nudge. Then that American Sign Language number 3 ride. I'm sure Paul right there, he definitely was not a fan of that. He's probably giving some sign language to the 3 ride right about now, and probably not the good sign language either. So we'll see some more strategy be played out here. More drivers headed down pit road, drivers staying out on the racetrack, and that's going to really mix up the front of the field here once again. Another caution flag and another opportunity for drivers to try to make some changes, work on their rides, work on their trucks, trying to make sure they have everything set up perfectly here in this race. You do see some tires going on to the 40 ride there of Nathan Nixon. He's throwing a set on. We see a couple other drivers getting some tires here as well, so it's going to be interesting to see. Now we're going to have drivers with fresher tires, maybe drivers with some older tires, and once again we run into that same issue out there, man. We're going to see some drivers with potentially really fast hot rods out there and other drivers with not very fast cars out there on the speedway, with the tire fall off here being so dramatic and so crazy out there on the speedway. When you look through the field, you look back at Grayson McKee and that McDonald's 48 ride. He hasn't been down pit road since lap number 40. Everyone else came down pit road there on lap 54, lap 60. Now some drivers took only fuel. Some drivers have taken that extra set of tires here, especially now being at that halfway marker. So we'll have to wait and see how this one kind of plays out. Who's going to make the right moves? Who's going to be in the right position late in this race to pick up a big checkered flag? As Bones does says halfway. Halfway, baby. Halfway here in this one. Halfway in, halfway to go here this afternoon. And here we go. We'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. As Colorado Avalanche fan says, he says, dive, dip, dodge, duck, and duck again, and duck again. That was duck again, Colorado Avalanche fan. 100% duck again. How's your hockey game going, Colorado Avalanche fan? I know your boys are battling. They're fighting right now. They're trying to put themselves into a winning situation here this afternoon. They're trying to pick up a dub as well as us up here in the, all these drivers out there on the racetrack. Is we're gonna get ready to go back. As Eric Cardiel says, "Let's go 97" up on the wheel, cheering on the other Hardy out there on the speedway is Colton Hardy, a little deeper in the pack there. Wasn't leading some of this race early on. Got tied up in some contact and had some issues out there with Sean's detail coming in with the like on the stream. Eric Hardy with that thumbs up, and Nathan Korpinen Racing coming in with that like on the stream as well. I appreciate that, Nathan. I appreciate that, Eric, and everyone else coming in showing the love here this evening as Colorado Avalanche fans as they play at 9:50. Damn, man, that sucks. Why do you gotta like a team that's in a different time zone, man? That's what's wrong right there, man. Having a favorite team in a different time zone, it's always the worst. Always the worst. Having to stay up so late to watch a hockey game. Normally he's in bed before second periods even started. He's already asleep. Got to rewatch the game the next day, and hopefully no one tells you, or hopefully you don't see that score and ruin it for you. So we'll have to wait and see here on, maybe we'll try to ruin it for you and show you what the score is later in this races. Here we go. Back to green flag racing as we're just over halfway through this race. So halfway in, halfway to go as the 15 truck back to the loud pedal here at Auto Club Speedway. It's Michael Madden out in front trying to pull away from everybody else as Colorado Avalanche fan says, just woke up from my nap. CAF, that was like 5 hours ago, 6 hours ago. You just took a 5 or 6 hour nap. What in the world? What? I wish. I'm still napless. I would love to take a nap right now, but that's what bedtime's for. That comes after the race. That comes after the action. But out in front, it's non-stop battling here at Auto Club as Brett Summers to the outside will take that race lead away from Madden. Madden slides back into second here. No help to his back bumper as that 5 rider Matt Hayden pushing Brett Summers to the point here in Auto Club as Matthew Catania right there in position number 4 and looking for more with Nick Garner, Charles Gettings, Mark Beverly back there in 7th, and then we see Austin Gustafson, Joshua Moore, Nate Cogdell rounding out our top 10 here on the racetrack. As it was a very long nap there for Colorado Avalanche, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. As Bones does this, wakey, 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 wakey. Yes, sir. Wakey, wakey, Colorado. Wakey, wakey. And hopefully we reiterate that to your team as well, your hockey team. It's wakey, wakey time. They need to jump up there and win this hockey game tonight. As Matt Hayden down low, he's looking to try to take a little bit of this race lead. He's looking to put his Sonic Graphic Designs, that Razor machine, to the point here this afternoon as he's looking down low, trying to make that move around that Metalheads truck. The Boston Web marketing ride of Brett Summers as Summers tries to hang on to Matthew Catania back there in that one rail NOS Energy paint for cuts. That Jules A Speed Shop, Team CFM Esports, number 318 machine, battling just inside the top 5. He's got that 27 and Nick Gardner in the Celsius machine, and Charles Gettings in that beautiful, always beautiful Storm C Performance number 96 out there on the racetrack. Matt in there in that Anything EC Sparkle and Shine number 15 right there in 6th with Austin Gustafson, and that Underdog Fantasy Spotify number 71 there in 7th. Then we see that Asphalt Outlaws number 13 right there with Mark Beverly, Nathan Nix, another one of those Sparkle and Shine Anything EC rides, that Vestas Rock Solid Riggs, number 40, riding back there into the 8th position as they both roll around Mark Beverly, him and John Herbert as the Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters. HCK Beagles, number 87, now back up inside the top 10 as well. As some great racing action here from Auto Club Speedway as Eggs and Bakey. What? I have to prepare for this late game, prepare for the late games. Yeah, you definitely have to prepare for those late games, man. Those late games, they can kill you in a quick hurry, man. It's a long time to be sitting around just waiting for the puck to drop, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But hey, you took a good nap. You're all prepared. You're fully awake now. You just got a whole night's sleep, and now you're ready to watch some hockey and then maybe take a nap before for nighttime. Maybe go back to bed after the hockey game. As these guys continue to battle. Brett Summers out in front. Matt Hayden right there in position number 2 as we are over halfway through this race and about to get towards 70 laps in and 50 laps left to go here this afternoon as we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys know what to do. Crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers right now in the comment section. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, and hit that follow and subscribe button as we're going to crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Give it up to all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session here this afternoon with the Metalheads Truck Series as we are in the later half of the always amazing, the REVCO 240 this afternoon. So the REVCO 240 quickly coming to a close here in this one as you do see John Herbert down pit road there in his Ridge Power Sports KR Cutters ride, looking to get some repairs, looking to try to get a fresh set of tires as green flag pit stops have been underway here. A lot of drivers have made their way down pit side. A lot of drivers have already made that extra pit stop here this afternoon. Other drivers trying to stretch it out a little bit farther. You see Joe Bennett still rolling out there. Paul Ferdinand, he's still out there on the racetrack. Same with K-Dub. Kevin Winker there in that Muleburger Custom Homes number 42 as he's got that Chevy Silverado on a bit of a different pit strategy here. A lot of drivers coming down pit road there on lap 77, lap 76, a bunch down towards, lap 80, lap 82, 81, 83, all in that kind of area right there. And then a few of these other drivers waiting a little bit longer, going a little bit farther here this afternoon in this pit run and on this pit cycle, seeing if they can try to make it to the end of this race on maybe this being their last stop. For other drivers, they may be forced to have to make another green flag pit stop here before the end of this race. They may not be able to make it there to the end. It's probably looking more like a 25 lap runish or so before you start to run out of fuel. For Kevin Winker, K-Dub, he was last down pit road on lap number 61, and we're now rolling on to lap number 88 done here. This is 89 the next time by the start finish line. So he's ran virtually a 28 lap run here, and you see that 42, he's off the pace. He's just trying to be cool, calm, and collective, trying to hit his marks here, trying to save some fuel, not being on the throttle, and trying to make it to the end of this race. His lap 90 now up and onto the board here. So we'll have to wait and see if he can make it 30 laps. If he can make it 30 laps and then make it another lap or two, then it could potentially be his final pit stop of the day. And if we stay clean and green, that would put everyone else back down on pit road before the end of this race, and it could put this 42 ride right where he is. And that's out in front, leading this race and being in this position. Right now, he's got about 6 seconds between himself and Matt Hayden. Hayden was the first driver to really come down pit road here. Hayden, the 76 of Clinton Woodby, they were down pit road on lap 77, lap 76. They've been using those fresh tires up and burning their stuff up, running at the front of the field and trying to hunt down all these other drivers. And now Hayden is going to take that race lead back away as K-Dub does head down pit lane. So makes it to lap 91 here this afternoon. So virtually made it 30 laps. Now he's going to have to try to do that all over again. Has to make it another 30 laps, but hopefully being off the pace, being a little bit slower than these guys, not burning up his equipment too much and not using up too much of that gas. He's got to be able to make it that 30 lap run again, and hopefully doesn't fall too far behind the leaders, where even if he stays out, even if this goes clean and green, they may be able to catch him. He may be still off the pace and rolling slow out there on the speedway, trying to save that extra lap or two of fuel. And if he's going to save that, then he may be a sitting duck. They may be able to blow right by him, and that strategy game may not play out for that 42 ride here tonight. So we'll have to keep a close eye on it and see how that's going to work out for him here this evening. As here he comes rolling back out onto the racetrack here at Auto Club Speedway. There's our race leader right there behind him. That's Matt Hayden. Hayden's potentially going to put him a lap down out there on the racetrack now. Good news is for that number 42, Kevin Winker, he has much better tires than him. He's got much better tires than a lot of these drivers out there on the racetrack, but he scored back in 24th and virtually a full lap down to our race leader. So he's either going to have to be on the throttle, trying to catch up to the back end of the field here, see if he can race his way up to the front, but there's the caution flag. This caution flag, man, it may help him right here. This caution flag, I don't know if it's going to help him, hurt him, or potentially, I don't know. That's going to probably put everyone down pit side. If they can make it to the end on fuel now, but drivers are probably starting to really run low on tires, and that could be the next big thing. That could be the big question mark for a lot of these cats, is if they need that extra fuel or they need those tires. For Kevin Winker, he's got the freshest tires over everybody else out there on the speedway. He was the last driver to come down pit road by at least a couple laps, so he could be sitting in a pretty good spot. He could be sitting pretty easy out here on the Speedway. Doesn't have very many green flag laps on the tires of this 42 and can take it nice and easy. Maybe head back down pit road a couple more times where he doesn't need to give up track position. He's already back in 24, so even if he does give up a little track position, it should be able to just keep him rolling out there on the racetrack. And I'm going to have that extra little bit of fuel there late in this race where he doesn't have to be as slow as everyone else. And now everyone else, though, doesn't have to go down pit side. So he's got to try to race his way up through the field here as the fuel strategy, I think, is going to kind of get thrown out the window. So here we go. We're going to see drivers get back to the rear bumper of our official iRacing pace truck for Matt Hayden. Definitely, he did not want to see that. Definitely did not want to see that caution flag. And unfortunately, there for that 2 ride, that's Daniel Dow. Dow and Cooper Reed are both scored as a lap down out there on the racetrack. Actually, looks like Daniel Dow maybe a couple laps down here. Cooper Reed, yeah, looks like a couple laps down there for Daniel Dow. Cooper Reed, I do believe, is in that free pass position and should get the wave around back onto the lead lap here this afternoon. Now we'll see if everyone heads down pit side, tries to get that fuel, tries to get that extra little bit of gas into their trucks here this evening and not try to stretch it out. You do see Dow stays out. He needs to try to get that wave around, try to get that lap back there, try to put him at least 1 lap down. And looks like the first taker here this afternoon that's not going to come down pit side is going to be Colton Hardy. Hardy's going to stay out here. So Colton Hardy back to the point there, that winning bid. QH Designs, that Sonic Graphic Designs Chevy Silverado going to stay out on the Speedway, and he's going to consume that race lead. He's going to be our new race leader here, unless if he later on decides to take that car down pit side. See everyone down pit road, and look out, Grayson McKee goes for a slide down on pit road. Oh man, big slide right there for the 48 ride, and unfortunately it's going to cause some damage there for him, some heavy contact there for that 48 ride. Luckily enough, doesn't collect anybody else. No one down pit road's going to get hurt, so that's a good news there for everybody. As you go, everyone sliding back out on the Speedway. It's going to be Mark Beverly who comes out in that top spot there. So Beverly going to restart here in second if Colton Hardy does not come down pit side. Brett Summers now into third. Charles Gettings back there in fourth. Keith Prince, John Herbert, Nathan Nixon, Ross Beverly now into 8th, and Matt Hayden all the way back in 9th. Not a good pit stop there for that 5 ride as he gave up virtually what was the race lead to now all of a sudden be restarting back in that 9th position. Clinton would be right there behind him with Joe Bennett, Nate Cogdell, the 71 of Austin Gustafson. You see that 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. back there in 14th. Paul Ferdinandi back there in position number 15 with Caleb Kleiner there in 16th. Matthew Catania there in position number 17. Then we see Nick Gardner, Joshua Moore, Justin Rodden, our top 20. K-Dub, Kevin Winker back there in 21st. Bruce Bernard there in 22nd. Cooper Reed back in 23rd with Chuck Kinger, Grayson McKee, Michael Madden, Daniel Dow bringing up the rear of the field here. There's Dow. He's going to get that wave around, back around the official iRacing pace car now. That's not going to put him back onto the lead lap, but that will put him at least 1 lap down. And another quick caution flag could potentially at least get him back onto the lead lap and right back into the action here this evening. As here we go. We'll get them all ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to go back to battle here in this one. With only 25 laps left to go in this race, everybody should be able to make it on fuel. Nobody is probably going to have to make another pit stop unless we see another late race caution flag. If we see another yellow, 10 laps, 15 laps from now, someone's got that extra set of tires still back there behind pit wall. Maybe it's time to put those tires on. Maybe it's time to see if you can drive your way up through the field with those fresher tires, as we've seen that tire fall off be a key role here all evening long. So we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out, especially for Colton Hardy, as he was down pit road on lap number 85. Now that would make it a 35 lap run for this 97 ride late in this race. Now under this yellow, you can save a little bit of fuel. You can try to get a little bit of fuel left in your tank, but if you misjudge it, if you miscalculate what you're doing down there and you don't save enough, he could be that one and only driver that has to make an additional pit stop here late in this race and could potentially put him deep in the field and back there at the back of the pack here, having to make an additional yellow pit stop, especially if it's a green flag pit stop there for that 97 ride. So we'll have to keep a close eye on him late in this race. Here we go. Back to green flag racing. Colton Hardy with a great restart over Mark Beverly as Beverly rolls back there in position number 2. Brett Summers now up and into third as he quickly slides down low underneath that Storm Sim Performance 96 ride as the America Racing ride. He's going to slide back into that 4th position. You see all these drivers moving around, juking around out there on the racetrack, each and every one of them getting a push or a shove or trying to figure out a way to make a move to trying to get themselves back up towards the front of the field here. See Nathan Nixon, Matt Hayden both right there. They're making some moves. There's a little contact there between the 96 and the 40. They're going to make contact again there. So Nathan Nixon and Charles Gettings getting into a little bit of issues there down the front straightaway. Luckily enough, neither driver goes around. They both keep on battling. They both keep on rolling. And they're on the speedways. Nostalgic Punk Craver 2 says hello. What's up, Nostalgic? How are you? How you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're having yourself a great day and a great evening here as these drivers continue to battle, continue to duke it out here late in this race. Colton Hardy holding down the fort here at the front of the field, but it is a dogfight back there behind him. Everybody trying to hunt him down, looking to try to take this race lead away from him and see if they can put themselves up and into victory lane. As Hardy rolls at the front of the field, it's Mark Beverly, Brett Summers back there in 2nd and 3rd. Matt Hayden's put himself back inside the top 4 out there on the racetrack as he shoots down low, looking for a big run in that racer number 5 ride as he's going to quickly slide up into position number 2 here. Unfortunately cannot clear that number 13 ride as the outside lane gets moving down the back straightaway. Once again, you see these guys slipping and sliding and bouncing around out there on the very rough and tough racing surface here at Auto Club Speedway. Some absolutely amazing action here in this one as they are 2-3 wide. Everyone just battling and fighting here this afternoon, and it's been a fight as they're 4 wide again down the front straightaway. 4 wide here at Auto Club now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you came here for a show. Well, here you go. This is what you came for, and it is on like Donkey Kong, and there's some contact. Look out, Mark Beverly's around. A couple drivers upside down the back straightaway. They're piling into the outside fence. Everyone getting tied up in this one. Heavy carnage and a quick caution flag back out on the racetrack. So the caution flag coming back out as chaos unfolds on the back straightaway, and a bunch of drivers getting absolutely tore up right there. A lot of fast cats here in this one as well as it gets started right here. And a little 3-4 wide. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if there's contact between the 40 and the 7. I think the 40 ride and Nathan Nixon maybe thought he was clear. I don't think he realized that there was another car to his outside, that they were virtually 5 wide right here in this frame. 5 wide there is Brett Summers to the outside. That's the 13 of Mark Beverly kind of there on the middle outside lane. Then you see Nathan Nixon, that black, green, and red ride, kind of right in the middle. That's the beautiful 0-0 ride down low of Nate Cogdell. And then you see Matthew Catania there in that 318, that NOS Energy ride there in the middle as well. And unfortunately here, they're just going to run out of room. Let's take a look at it here. So Brett Summers up on the outside lane. You watch this 40 ride as Brett Summers comes down off the wall. The 40 ride's trying to come up. Unfortunately, they just make some contact. It hooks Nixon into the 13 ride of that Mark Beverly there. And then you see the 96, the 27. They all get collected. John Herbert's in there as you see the 13 ride almost go airborne there. That car goes up onto 2 tires, and you see everyone else just kind of piling into this one, man. There's a lot of cats that all of a sudden just kind of had nowhere to go. Charles Gettings right here as well. Gettings, he's up onto 2 wheels. I do believe that car, it's going to touch the roof there ever so slightly. Luckily enough, does not start to barrel down the back straightaway, but you see a lot of these other drivers just all of a sudden, really nothing they can do. A lot of cats getting tied up here. A lot of drivers getting some serious damage late in this race. So you look back and through it, see the 51 ride there as well. Heavy damage there. The 51 ride of Joshua Moore. Let's see if we can get another angle here at Moore's ride as you see them already piling up here. As he's going to get a great look at it. He's going to have a great angle at this. There you go. You see everyone just pile up right there. John Herbert, Grayson McKee, Nick Gardner, all these cats getting tied up. Haas Beverly tied up into it, and then the 51 and the 48, they end up making contact right there, even with the 48 right blinking, and that's going to send Joshua Moore down into the outside fence as well. Heavy damage there for him. Ashley Ellison Jr. tied up in that as well, in that 133 ride, and just carnage all down the back straightaway, man. That is some heavy hits back here for a lot of these drivers. Let's see if we can go back again, take another look at it here, and get another angle at this as, man, it just unfolds so quickly here out of corner number 2, and so many drivers just getting absolutely tore up. And luckily enough, that car does stay on all 4 tires. Doesn't go all the way upside down. Doesn't start barrel rolling, but a lot of drivers going to have to go to work here. Their crews are beating and banging, trying to get these fenders pointed back in the right direction. One driver that was happy to see that caution flag was that 2-rider Daniel Dow. Is Dow able to get that free pass? The lucky duck. He is now back onto the lead lap and back into the battle here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see if Daniel Dow can try to rebound and race his way up towards the front of the field. There's Jimmy 6 times. What's good, Jimmy? Jimmy 6 times coming in, says 5 wide. Doesn't work, guys. Unfortunately, does not work. And Jimmy 6 times says Winker Nation winning from pit road. Oh, baby. I don't know about that one. I think K-Dub's going to have a tough time here. I mean, he's down pit side. I don't know if he had an extra set of tires back there, but if he did, he's made a lot of pit stops here. That was actually his 15th trip down pit road. There's some other drivers like Chuck Kiger who's went down pit road 16 times. You look at Paul Ferdinandi. He's been down pit road 14 times. Joe Bennett's been down pit road 14 times. These guys have been working that fuel strategy, trying to figure out a way to hit the marks here this afternoon and trying to make it on fuel or tire strategy or anything they can here this afternoon. Is Gord Gatsy? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Probably getting it completely wrong. Gordon says his strategy is working out. Yeah. I don't know about that one. I don't know. K-Dub strategies, man. He tries these strategy runs every single race, man. For the last, I want to say, like 3 or 4 months, K-Dub has really been all about the strategy game. It hasn't worked out for him. It always seems to fall apart late in these races, and it never plays out into his hands. And one of these nights, it's going to finally work out for him. He's going to hit the strategy right and put himself into a good spot. But for right now, he's at the back of the pack. Everyone's got enough fuel to make it to the end. He's just got to hope that he's got some tires left over that he can use to get to the front of the field. As here we go, back to green flag racing here at Auto Club Speedway. As Matt Hayden back to the loud pedal. That racer number 5 ride quickly jumps back onto the throttle and leads us back down into corner number 1. Nice and easy out of corner number 2 is the Goldberg number 92 rider Clinton Woodby. Right there on his back bumper. Joe Bennett up in that 05 ride rolls in position number 3. Matthew Catania back there in 4th with Nate Cogdell rounding out our top 5, but down low to his inside is that Majula St. Speed Shop Team CFM Esports number 196 of Caleb Clinard. Clinard looking to try to put himself up and inside the top 5. There's Clinard trying to race his way into the fight. Here comes Paul Ferdinandi. He's right there in this battle. Same with that Sparkle and Shine Anything EC number 15 of Michael Madden as he rolls there in 8th. Our top 8 starting to break away here about 0.6 of a second back. You do see that Celsius 27 and Nick Gardner there in 9th. Mark Beverly back there in that 13 right now. These are a bunch of those drivers that just got collected in that last wreck, that last caution flag. Potentially some burnt up tires and everything else, but there you go. Caution flag is going to come back out here. So another quick caution flag late in this race, and once again, that's going to mix things up. Let's take a look at it. Looks like the 01 ride right here. That is that NXT machine, the JH ride. Going to run into some problems. It's Justin Rodden trying to keep himself pointing the right direction. He's got that 3 machine down to his inside, and unfortunately, Keith Prince going to give him a shot. Unfortunately, right there into that left rear quarter panel, just going to spin him around. He makes some contact. Daniel Dow gets tied up in that one. He goes for a slide down through the infield, and just enough for that caution flag to be thrown late in this race. Another caution flag, another restart, another opportunity for drivers to try to work their way to the front of the field here as Grayson McKee. What's good, Grayson? Grayson says DQ'd after some really bad luck, and this group is supposed to go to Eldora next week. Laugh out loud. Yeah, Eldora is going to be rough. It's going to be rough for certain, but I think we're going to see a lot of drivers probably either take, EOLs or just maybe sit down pit road or I don't know what, but it's going to be a little bit wild. That dirt surface is a whole different ball game, especially in these NASCAR trucks. As Jimmy Six Time says, I'm still recovering from surgery. My PSCRL season may be done, unfortunately. What? No! Josh, that's not what we want to hear, brother. That's not what we want to hear, my boy. Hopefully that recovery gets going in the right direction here, and hopefully we see you back on your feet and back in behind the cockpit and racing again in a quick hurry, my boy. That's never something we like to hear, man. And hopefully it's not going too bad. Hopefully it's maybe just taking a little longer, but hopefully it's nothing getting worse or anything else. And hoping and praying for the best outcome there for you, brother, and hoping that your season is not done, as we don't want to miss you out there on the racetrack, man. We always love seeing that 5 ride rolling out there on the speedways. Right now, the other 5 ride here this afternoon, Matt Hayden's out in front. I don't know if he's loving these caution flags or whatnot, but it's definitely getting him closer and closer to potentially seeing this checkered flag fly out there on the speedway, and that's never a bad thing. Being the late race leader, just trying to find your way into victory lane there, causing chaos and cautions back there behind you. Some of the competitors that you could be battling with and duking with are taking each other out, are destroying their race cars and running into problems here late in this race. So for the 5 ride being out in front, trying to keep yourself clean and green out there is never a bad thing or a bad place to be out there on the speedways. We'll get them all ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one, and man, it's gonna be another good show. Some more great racing here late in this one. As Brian Underwood says, who's the underdog out of the top 5? Underdog out of the top 5. Oh man, it's got to be that 0-5 ride. Joe Bennett, 100%. It's got to be that underdog. He's had a couple really good finishes this season, but tends to not really show a lot of speed, but plays some really good strategy and shows up kind of later in a few of these races. Sometimes doesn't get the finish that he's looking for. Maybe just doesn't have the speed to hang on to a top 3 or top 5 run. But he continuously kind of puts himself into the same situation. He really hasn't been a player all day long, but at the right time, right place, staying out of some of that carnage, staying out of some of that chaos, and playing some of that pitch strategy and getting that track position. It's been pretty good for the 0-5 ride, and the body armor machine definitely going to be, looking for that victory, and definitely going to be the underdog out of our top 5. Hayden, he's won a race already this year. Clinton Woodby has had some very tough luck, but has shown some really good speed out of that Goldberg 92 ride. Matthew Catania, also another driver that's shown a ton of good speed out of that 318 machine, that NOS Energy ride. Just hasn't had the good finishes, and same with that Carolina Collision Sonic Graphic Designs 00 ride of Nate Cogdell. If we go even farther back, Paul Ferdinandi, definitely going to be another one of those underdogs. Just hasn't had quite the runs that he's been hoping for early in the season. Always seems to get tied up in things and get wrecked or having DQs for contact or too much contact out there. But the World Series of Poker car, he's got his poker face on right now. He rolls back there in 7th, could potentially find his way to the front of the field. We've seen Michael Madden. He's picked up a win already this season. Nick Gardner, always a threat out there on the racetrack, and same with Mark Beverly. So there's a couple clear-cut ones. Joe Bennett, Paul Ferdinandi, definitely inside the top 10 right now, and they are looking to try to capture and steal away a good finish here this evening. As here we go, back to green flag racing, as out in front, Matt Hayden looking to try to pick up the checkered flag here this evening. Clinton would be right there on his back bumper, though, putting the pressure there to his rear end. As here comes Joe Bennett, here comes Catania, and here comes Cogdell, as these 2C teammates there on the inside lane, a pair of Majula Singh Speed Shop rides, trying to work together here, trying to clear that 00, but a great run down the back straightaway, carrying a ton of speed there for Nate Cogdell, able to try to keep them kind of separated and not allowing them to clear that 00 ride. Is now the 196 going to roll with that outside lane, maybe going to leave that teammate, the 318 machine of Matthew Catania, kind of high and dry, is out in front. Look at the moves. The 92 is switching lanes here at the front of the field. He's trying to figure out a way, trying to get an open door to see if he can try to steal this win away from Matt Hayden here this afternoon. There's some great racing drivers back there deeper in the field. They're trying to figure out a way to get up there to the front, but unfortunately tire wear and some of the strategy and some of the contact that they've had here throughout this race and damage that they may have on their cars is definitely started to hinder their performances here. You do see K-Dub Kevin Winker back there in that Muleburger Custom Homes ride. He's battling door to door with Justin Rodden. Then it's a battle back for the 20th position on the Speedway. Drivers that have led this race like Charles Gettings back here in 16th. Nathan Nixon back there in 14th. You look at Josh Moore back there in 12th. Colton Hardy there in 11th, just on the outside of the top 10 looking in as Paul Ferdinandi trying to hold on to that top 10 right now. Unfortunately, that 44 ride starting to slide backwards. Couple drivers taking advantage of it, and they are going to try to split him as they're 3 wide here with that 44 ride. He's up on the outside lane. He's got Colton Hardy right there to his outside, and Hardy may even want to try to make this a 4 wide battle there, but he's going to poke his nose right there to the outside of that 44. He's going to get an open lane, and he's going to pull right up alongside him. It's a big move right there, just clearing the nose of that 44 ride. Once, twice in contact. There we go. The 44 ride makes some contact, unfortunately, down onto the apron. That truck's going to keep on sliding, and he's going to bring the caution flag out. So the caution flag coming out once again late in this race. Really to mix things up here again. Really mixing things up as the Cole Winker says, let's go Winker. Brent Wheeler says, let's go Winker, Winker Nation. Winker Nation in the chat. Winker Nation cheering on that 42 ride as Brian Underwood says, all right, we will go with him for the surprise dub. Hey, we always love the surprise dubs. Surprise dubs are always what we cheer for. So let's take a look back here at this contact. You see some big moves here. Out of this number 13 ride is Mark Beverly kind of switching some lanes, jumping around a little bit out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, just over the nose of that 44 ride. I think that's kind of got him a little bent out of shape right there. It's right there, just barely clears him. Comes back up the racetrack again, just barely over his nose, and all of a sudden, I don't know if he comes down or if that 27, I think Garner comes up a little bit. Looks like Garner comes up, trying to follow kind of in line with that 13 truck. Doesn't realize that they're 3 wide and doesn't have any more room, and just gets up into that World Series of Pokers. Number 44, Paul Ferdinandi, just unfortunately nowhere to go right there, and gets tied up, gets turned around, and that brings that caution flag back out. So another yellow flag, another late race restart for Matt Hayden. He's going to once again have his work cut out for him as Clinton Woodby and Joe Bennett still right there. Bennett, that's what I'm saying, man. Bennett seems to just find that speed, be in the right place at the right time, really use that track position to his advantage, and is he coming down pit side? Oh, he does make the big move down pit road. So Bennett gives up a top 3 position to come down pit side late in this race. Not sure if he was thinking he was going to be too tight on fuel right there, and ends up biting the bullet anyways. Comes down pit road here, and he's going to give up all that track position. Now going to deep in the field. You do see Chuck Kiger in the 422 ride down pit side. Brett Summers coming back down pit road. There's Paul Ferdinandi. Joshua Moore also down on pit lane getting his truck repaired in that Muleburger Custom Homes machine. And all these guys going to be, look like a set of tires going on to this 51 truck of Joshua Moore. That's a big shout-out right there. Maybe one of these drivers does have an extra set of tires back there behind pit wall. We saw the 51 get a set put on. He had a little extra tires. Maybe he has a little something up his sleeve for late in this race. As Brian Underwood says, well, there goes the underdog. Yeah, the underdog's kind of gone there. The underdog's kind of gone. I mean, out of the top 5 now, I would say would probably be the next guy up. Maybe Cogdell. We haven't really seen, we haven't seen Woodby, Cogdell, Kleinerd, picking up wins yet this season. They've shown some speed. They've had some sparks of brilliance out there on the racetrack. Just haven't had quite the runs or the performances that I think they would like to have. And they're right there, man. They're inside the top 5 too. They'd be kind of like the next underdogs up on the leaderboard. John Herbert back there in 8th. Herbert, he's shown some good runs, some good speed here tonight, as well as a lot of other nights. Just Just not in the right place at the right time late in these ones. Charles Gettings as well in that 96. There's just so many drivers. The 17 ride Bruce Bernard. Definitely an underdog back there in that Florida Gators Toyota. And I'm not sure what it is with the nighttime lights in that 17 truck, but it definitely affects that paint scheme. It makes it super, super white. I don't know why it does that. It's the only paint scheme out there that seems to be really, really white once that light kind of hits it. But nonetheless, it's still looking pretty good out there, man. Welcome to the swamp. Beautiful Florida Gators ride. He's back there just outside the top 10. Be good to see him get a good run and a good finish here this evening. You see K-Dub, Kevin Winker right there as well, as K-Dub going to get ready for a big restart. He's been deep in the field here for a lot of this race. He has led some laps under that, that fuel strategy, that pitch strategy that he was on earlier here this evening, for this last slew of caution flags, and now he's kind of in that same boat as everyone else. They can make it off fuel. Now it's just down to who's got the tires, who's got the fuel, who's got the ability to race their way to the front of the field and potentially put themselves into victory lane. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys have been enjoying the racing action, if you guys have been enjoying the show here this evening, make sure you guys do us a favor right here, right now. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as we're going to get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here on Peacemaker Gaming. As the green flag comes back out, we're going to get 5 more laps left to go. 5 more laps left to go. If we get to that white flag, the next flag will end this race no matter what. But if the caution flag comes out before that time, then we will be going to a little bit of NASCAR overtime here at Auto Club Speedway. As back down through the Geico restart zone, the Razor Toyota, the number 5, right quickly onto the left pedal, slides up, clears that number 92. Ryan, the Goldberg machine, will slide back into position number 2, as here comes Cogdell. Cogdell making some quick moves, gets down to the inside here of that 92 ride. They're battling door to door. Down out at core number 2 is Cogdell, looking to try to put himself up and into victory lane, as we see one driver, that's John Herbert, shoots down the racetrack here. John Herbert goes for a wild ride, makes contact with the inside fence there, just ever so slightly. Unfortunately, down on the apron. No caution flag here for the 87 ride. Tough break there for that Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters machine, as I better stop saying who drivers, are a bit of underdogs here. We've been taking them out here, and unfortunately they haven't been having some good runs here. Every time we talk about them, they sort of get that, that curse out there on them, and the announcer's curse, it's true, it's a real thing, and we don't want to jinx any more drivers out there on the speedways. Hayden continuing to lead the way here down the back straightaways. We believe that 92 ride just still trying to hang on, trying to hunt him down, gets a big shove down the back straightaway from that 196 Caleb Kleiner right there in this battle now, as Cogdell slides back into 4th. Michael Madden there in 5th. Mark Beverly, Colton Hardy, Daniel Dow, the number 96 of Charles Gettings, the 01 of Justin Rodden up inside the top 10 here, as we did see Matthew Catania down pit road here as well, that 318 machine. Oh no, heartbreaker here for Matthew Catania, as he was having a great run, a great battle here all day long, and now down pit road late in this race. Looks like his chances are going to be over, as there's some contact back there behind him. Look out, driver sliding around. K-Dub, one of those drivers, Joe Bennett, right there in the middle of it as well. Got a good piece of that outside fence, lost a ton of momentum down the back straightaway, and he lost about 5 or 6 spots there on the speedway. Now back into that 17th position. As we look back through the field, you do see Joshua Moore here in this 51 ride. He did look to put some tires, maybe a set of scuffs onto this car, and he's trying to race his way up towards the front of the field, looking to work himself around his Muleburger Custom Homes teammate out there on the speedway of Kevin Winker for that 11th position. But out in front, it's Matt Hayden. Hayden not giving up this race lead, as Caleb Kleiner has been able to take position number 2 away from that 92 ride of Woodby. Woodby slides back into 3rd. Here comes Cogdell, Michael Madden. They're all right there, nose to tail on the speedway. Now some big moves out of Mark Beverly and Colton Hardy as they jump to the inside and outside here of Michael Madden. Now you see that double 0 Nate Cogdell. He's going to jump down low, trying to get around the Goldberg ride, as he looks to try to battle his way up inside the top 3 once again, as the white flag has been displayed. So one more time around, and this is exactly what Matt Hayden wants to see. They're all battling and duking it out back there behind him for position number 2 on the racetrack, and that's allowed him to start to open up a bit of a lead. About 2 or 3 truck lengths down the back straightaway Speedway as he rolls down into corner number 3 for the final time here this afternoon in the REVCO 240. The 5 ride of Matt Hayden will round corner number 4 here at Auto Club Speedway, and he will be the next winner here in our Metalheads Truck Series as they battle 2, 3, 4 wide back there behind them for position number 3. It's Matt Hayden who will pick up the checkered flag and find his way into the REVCO 240 victory lane here this afternoon. As he gets the job done, picks up the win here in this one. Caleb Kleiner coming home in position number 2. Giving him a little congratulation bump right there, and Colton Hardy going to pay his respects as well. It's Hardy able to steal position number 3 there right at the end, able to beat that 92 ride of Clinton Woodby by inches back down across the line to park himself up inside the top 3. Woodby back there in 4th with Michael Madden, our top 5. Cogdell slides back to 6 with Mark Beverly, Daniel Dow, Joshua Moore, and Justin Rodden rounding out our top 10, but it's all Matt Hayden. Hayden picking up the dub here in this one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys enjoyed that racing action, if you guys enjoyed that show, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit the like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go green flag racing here on Peacemaker Gaming, as Matt Hayden is going to get ready to burn down the house as his fender just flew off the truck there right back across the line. I don't know how that just happened, but he loses that front left fender, and luckily enough, that truck is already finished the race, doesn't have to worry about it, and he's able to celebrate picking up the win here this evening as we'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the victory lane here this evening, as Eric Hardy says, nice run, Colt. Nice run right there for Colt Hardy's. Let's take a look at the official results here as well. Colton Hardy was in 3rd, and it was virtually a tie. Now, that's really small, and we do have the logo right there, but the battle between 3rd and 4th was literally a tie. It went down to the 4th decimal point, the 10th thousandth of a second out there. Is that the right word? 10th of a second, 100th of a second, of thousandths of a second, the 10,000ths of a second it goes down to. That's literally millimeters for that number 97 ride of Colton Hardy to steal position number 3 away from Clinton Woodby. So heck of a run, heck of a battle back there across the line. But Matt Hayden still celebrating, still partying here at Auto Club Speedway as he picks up the checkered flag here in the REVCO 240, and we'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our drivers up and in to victory lane. As, man, what a run, what a race, what a show right there for each and every one of these drivers, as we'll pull them into the broadcast booth as they jump up into the waiting room here this afternoon. We're waiting to see some of these drivers slide in there. Hopefully we can get Matt up there right now. Let's see if we can slowly but surely pull him up there as here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our race winner, Matt Hayden. Hey, Matt, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Matt, man, what a run, what a race, man. What helped you out with this one, man? It seemed like the truck was strong. It was good all day long, but late in this race, you end up with that track position. You're at the front of the field. You got that fresh air, and this truck just came to life. And even with all that pressure, the restarts back there and all the action on your back bumper, you're able to hold these guys off and pull away to pick up a big win here at Auto Club Speedway.
Yeah, we're just happy to finally kind of turn one of these around, run up front, and yeah, finally come in P1 after a lot of really close races to start this year. So yeah, just excited to be up here with you.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. A lot of close races, a lot of great battles that you've had out there on the Speedway, and so many close calls and so many potential wins that you could have had, and just kind of look like they've fallen apart there late in a lot of these races. But you're finally able to jump up here, pick up a big dub, and put that 5 right up there on the front straightaway, burning down the house here after one of these races is going to feel very, very good, especially on a historic and beautiful racetrack like Auto Club Speedway.
Yeah, it's a shame that this is a ghost track, man. It's one of those where I feel like racing was always good here. iRacing, but whatever car you're in, this track is always fun. So yeah, it's a shame that it's not going to be on the schedule anymore, and the only other track that's close to it, like Michigan. But I feel like this track has better racing, surface is better than Michigan is, so it's a shame, man. But I'm glad that leagues like this keep putting on the schedule, and hopefully, we kind of continue on racing at tracks like this. But yeah, man, just happy. It was a long, complicated race. There was a lot of different strategies. Me and Clinton Woodby were having a headache trying to keep up with everything, but we're just missed out on him being up here with me. I think they crossed the line nose to nose. iRacing gave it to Colton, so no, happy to get a win in column.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally getting that win into the column, having a great run, but take us back through some of this racing actions we saw. Obviously, the always, 3, 4, even some 5 wide battles out there on the racetrack. A little bit of that tire and fuel strategy coming into play, as well as always seeing that tire fall off being so traumatic out there on the racetrack here at Auto Club Speedway. That really chews up those tires. What was kind of going through your mind throughout this race and some of those green flag runs that we had, especially there throughout that, the start of the second half of this race, having another long green flag run, green flag pit stops, and everyone just trying to work those calculators, trying to figure out, what the game plan is, what the strategy is going to be after a lot of those early yellow flags.
Yeah, the tire set for this with the laps, the stage, and the fuel mods we were getting, it kind of put us out. We were behind a set of tires. So kind of made a decision to play the long game. Didn't take tires at stage. Fell like a rock. Luckily, we had a couple of cautions after stage that we didn't get strung out. We got to stay pretty close to the lead pack. I think we fell back to maybe 21st before we pit. I think we may have done like 55 laps on that first initial set of tires. So the plan was to try to go long and then just keep slapping fresh tires on when we got in our fuel window each stint. And it just, we had that last little caution that put us on the outside of making it. And then we had, back-to-back cautions after that kind of helped us out. But yeah, I got to thank Clinton. He worked his way up there to get up there on the front row with me on some of those restarts. And, we worked the strategy and played the restart game. And he did a hell of a job sticking it behind me. I know his tires are a little bit older than mine, but ultimate teammate thing, man. He had some chances he could have taken down low, and we would have been side by side and let the field catch. And he stayed tucked in, gave me a couple of pushes, keep us kind of both out front, and he just lost a little bit of grip outside. So I hate that he's not up here on the podium with us, but man, yeah, awesome, a lot of fun on this track.
Absolutely, brother. Well, teamwork makes the dream work out there, and at least you're able to find your way up and into victory lane. Matt, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great drive out there as you're able to pick up the REVCO 240 checkered flag here this afternoon at Auto Club Speedway?
Yeah, thank you guys on Team Misfit Motorsports. Obviously, will be helping us out, joining on with us. Rusty had to miss this week. Jimmy's on vacation, so I say hey to these guys while they miss out this week on it. Everybody here at Metalhead's truck racing, man, hell of a lot of fun doing these things. These trucks, I think, put on the best racing in iRacing. Yeah, you for the broadcast, man. Appreciate you putting out there for friends, family to watch what we do.
Absolutely, brother. No better place to be on a Monday night than up here in the booth watching you guys duke it out and there on the Speedway and watching you pick up a big checkered flag here at Auto Club Speedway. Matt, congrats on the win. Congrats on the great run, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack and try to make it 2 in a row here next Monday.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night, and don't party too hard down there in Victory Lane.
We're going to definitely party tonight.
Beauty. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Matt Hayden. Hayden picking up the checkered flag, putting that 5 right up and into victory lane, man. What a run and what a drive there for him as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher and also our hard charger here on the afternoon. Up 24 positions from the doghouse all the way up almost into the penthouse here this afternoon. It is this 196 of Caleb Kleinert as Kleinert comes home in position number 2. Let's get him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Caleb, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Caleb, man, what a run, what a race. Take us back through this one, man, from your perspective. Obviously, a lot of back and forths, a lot of ups and downs for you. You start there deep in the field, but using some of the strategy, some of the tire wear, and everything else, you put yourself into position here late in this race to make some good moves and pick yourself up a solid second-place finish.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, me and my whole team, all my teammates, we fumbled it right there in qualifying. We was trying to see what a couple different people was doing and waited way too long to make our runs. And obviously, none of us got to put a lap in there, or not a decent one at least. So had to start deep, but just tried to take care of our tires there. I missed a shift, or downshifted instead of upshifting on one of the restarts early. Had to use my fast repair for that, so it was tough to survive there, but we just avoided the carnage there and found ourselves up front. I do want to apologize to Woodby. I know I got into him there, 3 to go, I believe it was, but I felt like I knew I was faster than both of them, but I had to use too much tire getting by Woodby, and then when I got clear of him, I couldn't get to Hayden, but just want to say sorry to getting into him there. I know I used him up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's always contact out there on the racetrack, and sometimes late in these races, man, you gotta make those moves. You gotta make that contact to try to hunt down a win there on the speedway. And as you said, just unfortunately taking too much time, taking too many laps there, and burning up your stuff trying to get around that 92 ride. Unfortunately, kind of took away your opportunity to hunt down that 5 of Matt Hayden and trying to make a move for that race win. But you gotta be pretty happy with the outcome. Still coming home with a solid second place run here this afternoon at what's been a bit of a slow start for you. Obviously getting tied up in a lot of the issues and having some tough runs out there on the racetrack and not really getting the finishes that this 196 ride has shown it can get.
Yeah, it's been tough this year. I feel like every race I've had something that's put me back. Dover, it was just all me. I cannot figure that place out. But Kentucky, Daytona, both of them, I felt like, just wrong spot, wrong time, got myself in trouble. Whether it be on pit road or just making bad calls on the racetrack. But it definitely feels good to finally, settle one out here in P2.
Absolutely, man, and I'm sure more and more great finishes for you here in the future, and maybe a couple trips up and into victory lane yourself, Caleb, as another great run, another strong drive out there on the racetrack tonight. You finally capture a great finish here this evening as you park that 196 right up in second. Not only is our second place finisher, but also our hard charger up 24 positions from the penthouse, or from the doghouse almost up into the penthouse here this evening as you park it there in that second spot. Caleb, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great drive here this evening?
First and foremost, CCR, Esports, all my teammates. They put in a lot of laps during the week and feed me a lot of info from where I don't have time to get on here this time of year from where the real life racing is going on. So I got to thank them. 5-Star Tire Specialties, Paper Cuts, Turbo HP Oil, CFM Esports, Majula C Speed Shop, all them guys over there. Want to say thanks to you for doing the broadcast. You're doing an awesome job every week. Nate and everybody for putting the league on, and I want to say congrats to Matt for the win right there. I know he's been close a lot the past couple seasons here, so good to see him get him one.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good to see a new driver up and in victory lane, and soon enough, I'm sure we'll see you right back up in victory lane yourself. Caleb, congrats on the second place run, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack and next Monday, and hopefully right back up here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm definitely looking forward to Eldora next week. That's going to be a fun one.
That is definitely going to be a fun one. Definitely a wild card of one circle for a lot of drivers here in the series.
Absolutely.
Caleb, enjoy the rest of your night, and congrats again on the second place finish.
Appreciate it, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher. That is Caleb Kleinert, as Kleinert comes home in position number 2. As Bones does, Bones, enjoy the rest of your night, brother. Hopefully you have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening, and definitely sleep well, brother. Sleep well, have a solid night of sleep, and have yourself a great Tuesday, and we'll see you back up here on the broadcast booth tomorrow night. Thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in, and talking in the chat, and cheering these guys on out there on the Speedway. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our third place finisher here, which was virtually a tie. They were nose to nose. They were dead even across the line. iRacing, though, going down to the 0.1 thousandth of a second here to see who got that third place finish, and they gave it to the 97 of Colton Hardy. Hardy by millimeters, able to pick up the third place finish here this evening as Taylor Spins says, sup, what's up, Taylor? How are you? Taylor Spins coming in showing the love as Taylor, my boy, coming in showing the love there. Taylor Mailer, hopefully same person there on Twitch and over on YouTube, coming in showing the love there. Says, sup, how are you? How you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're having yourself a great night. As here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our third place finisher, Colton Hardy. Hardy coming home in third. Let's get him up here into the booth. Colton's got to drive. He's got to hop into the other channel. Colton, if you're watching, brother, you gotta jump into the not locked channel. I can't unlock that channel. Let me see if I can message him. There we go. All right, perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our third place driver, Colton Hardy. Hey, Colton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Take a copy.
Yes, sir.
Colton, man, what a run, what a race here for you. Obviously, shown a lot of speed, a very fast QH design ride out there on the Speedway as we saw you leading some laps here early in this race, and then all of a sudden you get some pretty solid contact there, damage from the driver's back battling behind you, and now you got to try to rebound. You got to try to completely change your whole game plan after having to use that quick repair, losing all that, all that strategy that you worked for, all the track position, and you slowly but surely battle, chip your way back up there, and all of a sudden, late in this race, making some moves, and right down across the line, just by millimeters here, picking up that third place finish over Clinton Woodby.
Yeah, it was an interesting race, to say the least. There was a lot more cautions than I thought there would be for an Auto Club race. And going into tonight, this was just like last week. I went into tonight saying, well, somebody's got to finish 19th tonight, and that's probably going to be me. And somehow, some way, we're back up on the podium. It's just tonight was a lot of just strategizing how you were going to use the 3 sets of tires that you had in the pits, and with the stage break coming at that time and only being able to get 24 to 26 laps out of a tank, it caused a lot of great strategy. And then the cautions definitely mixed it up. I know that long green flag run, a lot of the different strategies started to come to fruition there, and I was just going to run it deep and try to save as many tires as I could late. And we took our last set of tires, I think it was 2 or 3 cautions before the end of the race there, and I thought I was going to be the truck to beat, but we just kept getting caution after caution, and cycles just killed the tires and killed the momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of those caution flags and using the new tires, the old tires, and everything else. Kind of what was the thesis with that? Were the caution flags helping you out a little bit more, or were they hurting you more, cooling these tires down and kind of losing some of that, tire pressure and everything else built up in them? So, was that kind of just the thesis that things were, the caution flags were just hurting the fresh tires more than they were helping the fresh tires out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you had fresher tires, say you had 9 to 12 lap or fresher tires than a couple of the guys, um, maybe a caution or two and a heat cycle or two, and you're equalized just like that. It doesn't seem like much, but by the time their tires cool off and your tires get a little bit cooled off again, and you just lose whatever advantage you had. If they wouldn't have started stacking up on the last lap, I was quite frankly happy coming home 6th. But I looked down and somehow there was a 3 next to my name, and I'm like, hey, I don't understand how we just did that, but we did it.
Yeah, absolutely. As we were watching Matt Hayden pick up that checkered flag, we saw you there in the background, able to jump to the outside lane and find a big run. And I knew it was going to be close. And when I looked up at the scoreboard and I saw 0 zeros there, I had to go to the iRacing scoring and look at the, the 1,000ths of a second. And you guys were dead even there across the line. Obviously going to the 10,000ths of a second, and obviously just by millimeters able to beat that 92 right back across the line.
Yeah, it was a very close race there, and me and Clinton talked. Of course, me and him are really good buddies outside of sim racing, so it was a lot of good fun there in the last lap. And he told me, he said, I wasn't going to put you in the wall. He's like, but I was going to try to beat you. And he's like, but I came up an inch short, so whatever works. And I'm happy to see Matt win especially after last week, how that one kind of fell through his fingers there in the last couple of laps. So I told Matt, I said, I bet this feels like a bit of a retribution tour.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a big win there for Matt, and another solid performance here for yourself as you park it up on the podium here in position number 3. Colton, again here tonight, man, who would you like to thank for another great run and great drive out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, absolutely. My sponsor is QH Design for all your custom T-shirts, decals, marketing needs, anything, business cards, hero cards, anything you could ever want. Get a hold of me, I can get you taken care of. The winning bid, Blair Peterson. He has anything and everything diecast related you can imagine. He does awesome card breaks of the newest boxes that come out. He's a great dude. He works with you on pricing. He does auctions. Check him out on Facebook, the winning bid diecast. And the league admins, of course, everybody who works to put this on, and of course you. And my dad and stepmom at home, they're watching, so a shout out to them. But yeah, everybody who works so hard to put this on for us and allows us to have a good time.
Absolutely, brother. It's always good to see you guys out there on the racetrack battling, and we're super happy of these guys and what they do behind the scenes to bring all of you amazing drivers together to put on these amazing shows week after week after week. And we can't wait to see you back in action next Monday and see if you can try to put this 97 ride back up onto the podium and maybe find yourself right up there in victory lane next Monday.
Okay. We finished second. We finished third. There's only one more place to finish on the podium.
There you go, brother. Well, maybe next week is your week to finally capture a checkered flag and put yourself up into victory lane.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much, Peacemaker.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You as well.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Colton Hardy. Hardy coming home there in third, man. Great run, great drive there for us. Taylor Mailer coming in with that subscription over there on YouTube. A brand new sub over there on the YouTube channel. Shout out there to Taylor coming in, showing the love here in this one. Dropping that subscription, becoming a brand new member of the Peacemaker family. As Eric Hardy says, proud of you, boy. Proud of him. Proud of him. Absolutely, definitely got to be proud of that run, that performance, and the great drives that Colton Hardy's been having over the last couple weeks, and hopefully using that momentum and continuing on with those great finishes. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, unfortunately, that is going to do it for us here in this one. This was a little bit of a longer one. A lot of those caution flags taking up a lot of time, but nonetheless, non-stop amazing racing action here from Auto Club Speedway. We can't wait to see these drivers back in action here. Shout out to all of our amazing sponsors. Shout out to REVCO again for coming in, becoming our sponsor here for this race with the REVCO 240, and a huge congratulations again to Matt Hayden for picking up the REVCO 240 checkered flag here in the Metalhead Truck Series. And we'll see you guys back in here tomorrow night as the HCK Beagles Truck Series goes to battle tomorrow evening, where you'll see a majority of these drivers in that series as well, duking it out tomorrow night on the racetrack in these trucks again. And more great finishes, more great racing, just like we saw here this afternoon. And we can't wait to be back up here on the broadcast booth and seeing all of you amazing people in the comment section. Show the love and hitting that like button on the stream. And we'll see you guys later. We'll see you guys back in here tomorrow night. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace out for now, babe. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Mellow bass screaming, rubber birds on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Peacemaker, fresh as sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lane. Chasing that crowd through the chaos insane. six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber birds on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky.